I didn't have the sound on at all for the whole.
Good job, Brian.
Anyway,
That's okay.
all right, because it's only us watching.
I forgot to check this time.
It's all right.
Were you at least recording?
Yeah, but it doesn't record. It recorded the silence.
Oh, no.
Uh,
Oh,
that's okay. It was just a recap.
Yeah, we missed some
Pretty
good
much
stuff
just
though.
recap.
There was some good stuff in that.
Well, then you'll have to go back and just redo the recap for
Yeah.
the podcast.
No, wait, no, I can't.
For
Anyway,
the podcast, there was a
Podcast.
recap.
There was a recap.
There was a
And then you'll
recap.
have to say all of our voices, and especially we need to get the nerdy voices
Yes,
in
there
there.
we go.
Oh my god.
Oy.
Excellent.
Anywho,
okay.
Okay. So,
What I was saying before I was so rudely malfunctioned was I thought you guys were with me. I thought we all went out there because
no, let
Okay.
me took you up there to show you the secret entrance, and they were continuing their own investigations while you were. while
yes. Okay then.
Yeah.
Let me. I think we should go find the others. I think maybe the people who took your egg may have come through here.
Well, no, you didn't pick up evidence of the peppermint there.
Oh,
That's just what when you were up there during your investigation,
Oh,
it triggered
because
that memory.
yes, because when I smelled it originally, I didn't roll so well, but then I saw the tree and I was like, "Hey, memory." Yeah.
Yes, things finally clicked. And smell
Okay.
is one of the most powerful evokers of memory.
Memory.
So there you go. Yep. So he can lead you back.
Yes, and this time instead I'm going to say because I think I know where we should start looking because of the smell of the peppermint. There.
There we go. So he seems excited, and he leads you back down this, through his little winding cave. And you notice that along the way, there's a lot of like other passages that kind of break off of this. And dragon layers are intentionally designed, intentionally made to be disorienting. So that way, because it's like an evolutionary imperative thing, right? People go to dragon layers because they know there's treasure there, but you don't want to just give them a direct line to the treasure, because what if you're not home? So there's a lot of like twisting and turning of passageways and whatnot, to try to. You can see how it would be very easy to get lost in here, especially as a mouse, because everything's just that much bigger. This is big enough to fit a dragon. So, but he leads you back into the nesting chamber. Wouldn't be an airy. I don't know what it would be for a dragon. Would it be a nesting, the brooding chamber?
Yeah,
Horde?
just be a nest. 'Cause
Nest?
It's still,
Yeah.
It's a nesting chamber.
Yeah. I don't know. I just felt like it would be like there would be a specific term for.
It's probably in like High Draconic, and we can't say that because we don't have all the dragon mouth.
Yeah, all the mouthpieces to make it work.
Yeah.
That's for
The-
mouses.
And,
Because you're mouse.
yeah. Well, actually, in our mouse form, we probably have more draconic mouth shape than
Oh yeah, snoots.
because snoot. Yeah, that's
Because of the snoot.
because the snoot.
Yeah, but some of it's I
Uh,
think some of it's pronounced actually with like the sacs that produce
The
the
breath
various
weapon.
the breath weapon. That I would imagine that's part of the speaking anatomy for certain draconic things. So unless you can like really like hork up like some stomach acid while doing that, or if you're like a black dragon, you just sound like you sound like a because it's like a lot of coughing, because they breathe like the acrid poisonous smoke.
Oh,
So for them it'd be like it's like reverse smoking for them. But anyway,
You sound like Dr. Girlfriend.
I was thinking more like the sisters from The Simpsons, but sure, we can go with that.
Yes. Also, yeah.
Or the woman who did E.T.'s voice, because apparently that's her natural speaking voice.
Good.
Anyway, he
yes.
leads you back down to the brooding area.
It's literally just called a horde.
Yeah, horde.
I googled this.
The nest too. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna write that down for future reference.
normally in a cave, and they keep it with their horde. I'm learning so much about
Everything you
Dragon
learn.
Tech.
Well, actually, it's called the Horde.
Yeah, you missed an opportunity there. Actually, it's called a horde.
Coolly.
They just keep it with the
According to
horde.
mythology and folklore. I love it.
At any rate, he leads you back to the horde, where, you know, where the nest is, and your friends are, colleagues, co-workers, even.
So I forget. Are we communicating through the wrist thing, and that's how
Mm-hmm.
Dren's able to understand us? Is that
Yeah,
how it
it's
works
acting as
right
it's acting as universal
now? Okay.
translator.
I just wanted to make sure for
Yeah.
my head canon.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So but so I would say, did you find anything good? And then like I'm like going like that to like like cleaning my ears. And then I'm like, what am I doing?
I'm gonna respond. Hi, yeah, hi. So I smelled peppermint earlier, and I think I know where that peppermint came from, and I think I know where the people are at who have taken the egg. Yes.
Well, that's a nice clue that we got. That makes our job a lot easier. Where exactly is this peppermint thing?
As a player, I don't remember. You told us like 2 weeks ago.
Yes, this is. So
I
there
didn't-
is.
Yeah.
There is. An
It's
isolated glade
Yes.
that follows. That's on. It's between. There's a place where the Chandal River, which is maybe what the Chandalwood is named for, maybe not. Who knows? Who knows how names work? But it is the Chandal River that flows through the Chandalwood, and it maybe it's the Chandal. I don't know, but it there is a place where it flows closer to the Fire Steep Mountains, and there's an isolated glade between the river and this alcove of the mountain where there are some, it's maybe a couple of acres, but it's very isolated. It's like the river comes right up to the mountainside in this place, and then it's like this carve out, and then so there's really no way to get in there unless you're coming directly across the river or you're like coming down very steep mountains. It's not like a lot of random it doesn't get a lot of traffic, in other words. There's no other real way to get to it. So it's, I don't want to say it's remote, but it is as isolated as something could be, possibly ecologically in the Chandalwood. So there's an area there where there are a few herbs and roots and things that are just somehow evolved in their own unique way on this side of the river because they have had very little contact with the other side of the river as far as like cross-pollination and all the other things. So you are aware of where this glade is, and you figure it's probably about a day away to get there. And it's
By
very...
foot or by dragon?
Give me a memory check, which would be, I guess, a history check or an intelligence check.
Intelligence generally.
I'm going to say, yeah, intelligence for your remembry. A remembry trick.
Can I use history?
If you can describe to me the time when you were there when you were younger, then I
studied about the logistics of dragons, and
if you would describe to me the trip you took there as a kid, I would allow for it to be a history check, as
Okay.
opposed to just a straight memory check.
I need glasses. I need glasses.
I can't see without my glasses.
So this is shortly after he was sent away to learning with his master.
Mhm.
He was left with a babysitter by his master because his master had an errand, and they did a trek through the woods, and it was an afternoon of it's hot out. This water looks nice. Don't go too deep. Oh no, I went too deep, and the current took me away, and I basically had to sort of doggy paddle and uh, caught a lot of water and swallowed a lot of water, and then wound up on shore on this little island in this little glade.
Mm-hmm.
And so his memory of that entire experience is slightly uncomfortable, maybe even a little traumatic.
Mm-hmm.
It might be why he didn't learn how to swim until much older at life, or if he even has learned to swim. But the mint smell is something that he found rather comforting, because this is all over, and now I can lay in this glade of mint and like recuperate.
There's a product placement opportunity here from Glade Mint.
No,
no,
thank you.
No, I will allow it to be a history check then.
Okay. Well, shit.
What you got there,
That's
buddy?
a 1. I got a 1.
Oh.
That's a total of a 4. Otherwise, it would have been a 0, which is why I was very much wanting history and not intelligence.
So while all that work, all that heavy lifting, only to throw out your back when you go to sign into the gym, I just deadlift. Here, let me give you my card. So yeah, you have a vague recollection of it being about a day away from where you are now, whether that's by dragon or whatever. You don't quite remember, and you're trying to you realize that when you're trying to picture the specific glade, you keep melding it with other glades for some reason. You just keep on. No, wait, no, that's not. Did it have that? And just the memories are just sort of like mashing together a little. There's a little, there's been some commingling of the memory. Those particular neurons might be touching in a weird way. You don't know. But you're having difficulty remembering if it's even accessible by dragon. Was it one of the ones that was it deeply, deeply shaded by thick canopy that would be very difficult for the dragon to get to? Or is it one that's open, or is there a steep over? You really can't remember. So you do know, though, that it would be you don't know much of anything, actually, at all, about anything, ever. And there you go. So that's our game. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Yeah, but you can't. You have like a vague idea of where it is.
Okay.
It's like when you're trying to find like a place you ate before, and you know what town it's in, but you think you might have randomly drive around the town for a little bit before you actually. Oh yeah, that's where that is. And oh wait, no. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I
It was many moons ago.
This is a memory and experience that I have lifetime-wise recently come across, and to much of my disappointment and chagrin. Okay, so in character. Okay, so we have to go to a place. It's about a day away. It's in the middle of it's a glade. It's near some mountains. It's in the Chandel River. It's very hard to get to. But yeah, that's where it is. Yeah.
Okay. So we have use of a dragon that we can fly there?
Maybe. It might be a place where dragons can't land because it's very covered in trees or something's up. I don't remember.
And I don't know if I should go, because if Bonnie comes home and I'm not here and the egg's not here, I think that it might be better if I'm here to give her an explanation.
Fair enough.
You
Did you
can't
say there
imagine.
was-
You can't imagine the hell that will be rained down if I'm not here and the egg's not here.
Did you say there was a water source feeding the area?
Who? Thunnock?
Mm-hmm.
But here, see,
Yeah,
this place,
there.
where we're going.
Where we need to go.
Oh, yeah, it's on the Chondle River.
Sounds like we need to go on a boating trip.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
That's like, it's gonna be the quickest way because I already have short legs, and you guys have even shorter short legs. So, we need to get a boat.
You need a
We'll
boat.
build a boat. I mean, it doesn't have to be a very big boat because we're not very big, so we could probably build a boat really quick.
I can't tell if he's thinking or if he's frozen.
He's
He's frozen and thinking.
Wait, both.
That's
And muted.
Yeah, sorry. Problems. Okay.
It's entertaining for us.
I was moving my head like this, just like eventually they'll notice I'm frozen or something weird's going on, and all I heard was we need a boat, and then things went wonky on us or on me.
Basically, I was just describing that we could probably build a boat because we're all very small, so it's not like we're going to need a very big boat. So we could just get to the river, build our boat, and then flow down.
Oh, that seems reasonable. Yeah, we can do that.
Like, literally, the boat's just, it could bait a barrel for how big we are. Well, then I'll look up, be like, okay, then we'll set out. We'll try and be as quick as we can, and hopefully we find out who took your eggs. And be back before Bonnie gets here.
That would be ideal. I thank you. This is embarrassing.
It's fine.
Mhm.
It happens.
Does it though?
And
Does it really?
no.
Mm. I didn't
I mean,
think
I
so.
did eat a dragon egg once. Wait, what?
What?
Oh no, I was just thinking eggs are tasty, so let's just
But-
go ahead and eat.
No. Did you think someone ate my egg?
No, they probably want to sell them. That's my bigger concern.
I don't know if that's better or worse.
It
These all sound like nightmare scenarios.
Dren's not very diplomatic.
I think it actually might be better because you can unsell an egg, but you can't uneat one.
That's true.
Yeah.
Please make sure no one eats my egg.
Don't worry. We'll and I start like scooting mice along the floor. Be like, we'll wait. Do I know how to get out of here? Did I remember enough to get out of here?
Intelligence check.
Where's my
Int.
fire?
Int.
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 Okay. 7.
So you start trying to scoot Eno and Thunnock out, and you start going out one door, and then like a minute later you come back in. Like, no, that's not the right one. And different door. No, sorry, that's not the right one. And like it's a few minutes of you like in it, and he's like, no, you got to go there, then left, and no, wait, left, right, and it's like just everything's lost in
Just throw me out.
translation.
Yep. Just at whatever attempt I come back and it's like, nope.
There's times where you left, and then you come back in through a different door. Like
Yeah.
it just. So as far as
Does Drenmai try to play it off like a Columbo thing, like just one more thing every time?
just one more thing. I got just one more thing for you.
She doesn't like to admit defeat very easily, so it'd be. Oh, and another thing to make sure that you, and then walk out the other door.
So after, we'll say probably about 20 minutes of this, you're finally able to weave your way back outside to the entrance that is high up on a cliff face with a waterfall sheeting in front of it.
I'm assuming there's no like easy way down.
Mm-mm.
Then I'll Yep, I can do that. I'm gonna cast Featherfall on all three of us and shove us all off the waterfall.
Well, you could. You
Yeet.
just need to cast it on you, and we'll just ride with you down, right?
I would not
We're
want
just-
that.
Nice.
Oh, we really lost Yvonne now.
Yeah, he's gone.
That's okay. He just got yeeted off of a waterfall.
Yeet.
That'd
Yeet.
be the expression that I expect.
Yeah.
So I'm just like free floating.
Yeah, because it's
All right.
Featherfall, so you're
Okay.
just lightly, Oh, we might have gotten it back.
He's almost back.
we got him. Yep, he's back.
I heard you guys the entire time, but your video was frozen, and I'm like, "You can, I can talk. Can you hear me?"
Nope.
No, your video just had a green bar at the top, and
You went off
it's all
the air.
crazy.
God.
Yeah.
That
We're
was
very
Bort.
faced.
So
I was
you-
like,
No, Featherfall just makes it so you don't fall more than like 10 feet per second, right, or something like that. Like,
let me pull up the action. Let me see if I want to give.
yeah. What do the rules actually say about you casting Featherfall and its effects on the characters?
Let's see. Slows to 60 feet per round until the spell ends. It lasts for a minute, so it's plenty of time. And if it lands before the spell ends, it takes no falling damage. Can land on its feet. Spell ends for that creature. So once we touch ground, we're done.
Well, this is going to land you in the pool at the bottom of
Yes.
this waterfall. So just
But it's a very nice dive.
sploosh.
It's
So like,
ah. And the wait, mice can swim. Yeah, mice can swim. So
Yeah, mice can swim.
But can you? Because we're just gonna ride you.
no, see, I already no. It's too late.
Oh, never mind.
She just cast it all on us and just shoved us out. So we're just floating. Yeah, it's okay.
I imagine mice have no problem swimming.
Well, I
no,
won't even.
mice can swim.
I won't even torture you with a
Um,
roll to get to the bank. We'll assume that you can swim up to the. All of you can mouse paddle or whatever up to the riverbank. Pull yourselves up. I imagine that Thunic and Nina would have like a good shake. You know, the good.
What?
You know,
what river are we on, or how far is the Chondlewood River?
that
from
this is the Chondle River. This is like the main,
us? Okay.
the main river
Okay. So then
in
we
the
just
Chondle
need-
Wood. Everything else is more like some kind of like either spring or tributary of some kind.
So we just need to start building our very rudimentary boat to get us downriver.
I start to shake, but then I realize I can cast magic, and I used prestidigitation to dry myself off.
But
It's
now-
more that your senses tell you to shake, and you're like,
Yeah. I'm like,
But when you
oh.
do it, now it's like it's totally like the fur's like all poofy now.
Super fluffy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're soft. Super soft now.
You've turned into chinchilla poof.
Wow. That's poof.
Chinchilla poof.
So, Dren, I guess you're gonna build a boat, right? Because we can't really build a boat because we're mice.
Let's see. Do you have any spells that would be beneficial towards helping with this goal? I'm gonna check mine too to see if I can.
I can cast Mage Hand,
That's true. So you can help move stuff and build
10
stuff.
pounds at a time.
10 pounds at a time.
Yeah.
I have fell tree,
Wait. You.
but it's
can
actually just
polymorph.
an evil tree.
Why don't you polymorph into something like a beaver?
Okay.
Because that'll get the
Yeah.
the
Well, we
choppy
established
thing.
before that he wouldn't be able to
It would just
polymorph
be a
into something
small-
much larger, so it would be a very
Yeah.
tiny beaver.
It'd be a small beaver.
He would max out at and it would just never mind. It would just max out at about the size of a large mouse. So
Okay.
so if you
I
if you
turn
need
into a
so if you
beaver.
needed like fine work done,
Yeah.
like some intricate carving done by beaver teeth, then this would be probably.
I
the
changed
proper-
all of my opinions because I can bullshit out of this.
How?
This benefits so much that you guys are small. So, I'm gonna cast creation, and this will. I mean, is wood not a living matter? So, technically, I would argue that this gives it to me for the duration of a day. Because it's not stone, it's not crystal.
This is
Vegetable
true.
matter, something that grows.
Hang on. Let me make sure that I'm looking at the correct rule set.
You're gonna need to look on page 229 for the 5th level illusions creation spell.
Okay, creation. You pull wisps of shadow material from the Shadowfell to create a non-living object of vegetable matter within range. Soft goods, rope, wood, or something similar. It says flat
See?
out there that wood counts.
See?
Mineral objects, blah, 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 blah. Must be created no larger than a 5-foot cube.
Which is perfect because we're all.
This works out well. And the object must be of a form and material that you have seen before. Have you seen a boat?
I've seen a boat. I can make a boat.
So vegetable matter, I don't even think this isn't even like a stretch. This isn't even a this isn't even like we're like even trying to stretch the rules. That's definitely wood is specifically mentioned. So
Wait, we can't do this without stretching the rules, though. You're gonna have to think of something
well, here's what I can do.
more.
Just because she can make a boat doesn't mean it's going to be a good boat. So I think we're going to need to, even though it's going to work, I think we need to have some design elements put into this to determine
I
whether.
have seen a horse, but that doesn't mean I know what a horse is made out of or how it works.
Like you can have the idea of like a shape of a boat, but boats are shaped very specifically, and if you don't get it right, it's heavy on one side or it just sinks and. So give me, let's see, how. So you're able to form this. So just saying, okay, I'm going to make a boat. That just happens. But
Yeah, I need to just go and grab a stick, basically.
yeah, you have to have something of similar material. Oh, okay. Oh, I like this. So we're going to start here.
Okay.
What stick do you grab? What kind of wood shall this boat be made out of? And if you're going to look for something specific, we'll have to do a nature check.
Yeah, I will be specific because this is stuff that Dren knows very much about. So
Making
I'm
stuff.
probably gonna go with a nice hardy wood because I don't know what this river could throw at us.
Mm-hmm.
So something on the hard scale like oak or I'm probably leaning towards an oak or something really tough.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you need to find an oak tree. And give me a nature check on that.
I don't know why I'm actually proficient in nature, but I am. So, 21.
You're able to find an oak tree.
Yeah. I don't actually know why that's in there. Maybe I don't know.
But now you must, so you can cast your spell, but you have to decide upon the shape that they shall take. That would be ultimately whatever it says a 5-foot cube, but I would take that almost as not 5 cubic feet, but that volume in any permutation of dimensions, I think would be acceptable. Like it's not just 5, 5, 5. It could be because that's 5 times 5 is 25 times 100. So it's basically 125 cubic feet of oak that you're going to be able to make.
I have to create it with a 5-foot cube. Which
Okay.
is fine. We're small. So
Okay, sure.
I'm playing by the rules.
His rules say it's specifically a cube. It didn't say that cube could be reconnoitered. The cube cannot be resized because then it wouldn't be a cube. It would be a rectangular prism. And it's specifically different. A cube is very specific.
Yep.
I'm looking for a good rhombus shape. I have it.
That's not a cube. It's not a cube.
No,
It could fit inside the cube.
Top part, the lawn, the seaside, not the B area. The seaside can be 5 foot, and the A side. That's more like 3 foot. Then you're gonna have a good 45-degree angle.
But how many qubits are in a cube?
Oh, what's an arc? It shall be 40 cubits by 38 cubits by 17 cubits. What the F is a cubit?
Oh, 45.72 centimeters.
I was about to say, I remember exactly how much of a cubit.
Okay, sure.
So
But
you
that doesn't do us any good here because we're dealing with...
And I wanted to know what a cubit was.
Yes. Okay, well, a 5-foot cube.
Also 18 inches.
Just in
Yeah.
case.
So,
Let's get...
if you want to measure it out, the standard size foot of the average person was about that length. And if you want to know how to easily remember, it's in between your wrist and your elbow is the same size as your foot. Anyways.
Anyway, let us...
See, now your mom's going to try it.
Shit!
I know pointless information.
I know you're just about as tall as your reach is from fingertip to
Just
fingertip. Just about. Anyway,
So,
Anywho.
I'm looking for basically a 5-foot long boat, and then because I have to work within that 5-foot tall,
mm-hmm.
there'll be a couple benches on the inside, and then I'll have a stick that's 5 feet long, and that's what I'm going to use as my mast.
Okay.
But it's going to be length, and I'll have to put it together once it's actually created.
So you've got the hull, you've got
Mhm.
the mast, you've got some benches.
Mhm.
That's the plan.
And probably like a couple oars just in case there's no wind or if there's a lot of branches and shit. So
Okay.
I can fit all that in a 5.
Yeah, I think that's all legit. But you would be the only one to be able to use the oars unless you made very tiny little oars that wouldn't do anything.
Whoosh, whoosh. Yeah, it's just gonna be 2 pairs of oars because shit always happens. If Dren knows anything, it's always have backups.
Have a backup to the backup. All right. So let's see, just to make sure that everything goes to, let's see how well you're able to craft these things from memory. This would be, I think, because you're, what's your spell casting ability? Like, what's your stat for sorcerers? That's not charisma, right? It's
Intelligence.
intelligence. So let's get an intelligence spell casting check.
Okay. D&D Beyond, come back. I need you. View, because I need my stats. Then does that mean that because I'm proficient that I get to have advantage?
No. It does not.
Okay. 15.
15. Okay. All right. So you hold the stick in your hand and you're able to start, I guess it'd be, I think you'd be teasing it, this shadow material out of like almost your lantern, right? It would be like, and
Yep, that's where I pull it from.
flows down your arm around the stick because it needs to get a sampling. Got to get the proper sampling, and then it starts one thread at a time, and you can almost see it. Each fiber of wood, you can almost see it forming together, as it starts to coalesce together in this form of this. It looks like when it's finished, it looks like almost like a dugout. One single piece as opposed to like planks and everything put together. So it is one single piece with the
I made a canoe.
you basically have made a canoe that has a mast in there that you could attach a sail to if you wanted to, and it has the the paddles, the oars already in there for you, and and it just lands and then, you know, tips to one side because it's a boat and keel, you know, it falls over to one side. But there is now a
Really creepy looking boat because it's made of shadow material, so it's all black.
yeah, it's like it's got like almost you made it out of like ebony almost.
Yeah, it's not gonna look. It's gonna be kind of creepy.
It looks like it looks like diseased oak.
Like dipped in oil oak.
Yeah, it's not.
That sounds gross.
Yeah,
It's a little shiny. It looks
Yeah,
like it might be a little sticky.
shadow material, so it's not gonna be the nicest looking thing.
It
Let's-
occasionally it pulses in areas that really probably shouldn't.
I'm trying to think of like what we have or what we can make around us that would like be good for a sail. You two could probably go harvest a bunch of leaves and we could weave them together. You guys are small, so you could just go up there, like chew off the stems.
Probably take us like a week.
To get that many leaves.
I don't know, mice are quick. Trying to think if I have anything in my bag. I don't normally have a lot of clothing.
Look, you said the contents of our packs are unaffected, but they're in our. We're talking about our bags.
Everything
our
resized
packs.
with you. Everything that you had on, you resized with you.
Even the
Yeah,
stuff.
like-
You're right. So
Well, the bags we still had in our rooms were going to be sent ahead.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, never mind.
Yeah, so you just have what you had at the party.
But you did
Yeah.
have your Thunic did have his backpack on. That was part of the costume.
Oh, that's true.
Because he doesn't go anywhere without the costume. Because the concern was when he got down to mouse size, what about the critters that were in there? The critters were not in there, so they were not resized.
No, he had special pockets in his clothing that the critters would hang out in.
Mhm.
He didn't have his backpack with him.
No,
In fact, he
I remember because the wear, the way I described it, had the ability to have the backpack underneath it. That way, it was almost like a
Oh,
ring
that's right.
punch
Never
underneath it.
mind.
But there were spots for your critter friends to hang out on your person, not just in the bag.
So, and my pack is still on me
Mhm.
in mouse form. And while Dren is talking about something like a sail, Thunic thinks, well, my shirts are big enough to be used as sails. How about one of my shirts? And he starts digging away at his shirt, completely forgetting that, of course, he is now mouse size, and so is his pack. And he takes out his shirt, he goes, unfurls it, does a little shake thing out, like, and here, use this.
Hold it up against like the mast, like
Well, from Thunic's perspective, he holds it up and it covers the mast entirely. It's huge, but then it's like,
Yeah.
it's like this big, you know.
And as you hold it up, he says to you, it'll stretch. It'll work.
Oh, speaking of which, then, can I detect what spell was used to make this shrunketh, and maybe I can unshrunketh it?
You've already attempted to go after this magic before, and you really can't dig into it. It's
Okay, now I
dense.
gotta look at my-
The spell is dense.
I don't want to waste another creation spell just to get a mass, so I'm not doing that. Does Eno have anything that he would be able to do?
I'm looking.
Okay.
While this is all being considered, Thunic is just looking very like intent, like, yeah, sure, it's gonna work.
Ah? 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 Ah?
Is this concentration? No, it's not. Can I bullshit this some way? Let me-
Well, you're gonna try.
Mhm. Pretty much. I mean,
Hang on.
I'm a tinkerer, so I have to bullshit all of my spells.
Hang on,
much as I can.
let me prepare the appropriate rule books to make sure that we're not breaking any of the rules here that were established by the game development team of Chris Perkins and Jeremy Crawford.
You're getting
Well-
on page 164 then.
Oh God, page 164.
If they were here with us right now, I think they'd remind us that those are not really set in stone rules,
No.
guidelines.
More guidelines than actual rules. All right, so I'm on 164. The hell are you getting from 164? There's nothing on this page for you.
Shape water.
That's not 164.
Oh.
Oh, it's in EE, not PHB.
In what?
Elemental evil.
Elemental.
Oh, hang on. I have that. Hang on.
Okay.
Well, actually, that's an elemental evil.
Actually, it's Princes of the Apocalypse.
Well,
It's actually Princes of the Apocalypse.
Oy vey.
Because I don't need a mask necessarily made out of fabric. I just need something that catches wind, and I can shape water in any shape I want to, and it would still technically move and catch air.
Let's
This
see.
would be the
Shape water.
weirdest-
Hang on. Instantaneous or 1 hour. The transmutation cantrip. You choose an area of water that you can see within range that fits within a 5-foot cube. You manipulate it in one of the
Wait!
following.
I've
Please.
completely changed my mind again. I already know what I want to do. I'm going to create the equivalent of a D&D motorboat. So basically, I'm going to constantly be changing the direction of the water that is under the boat. Because I can have it in 5 feet in any direction of where I am, basically. So I can sit there and say, water flow this way. And I can sit in the boat and not have to do jack shit and just concentrate every hour. And I've created a motorboat.
She's
Flip
not
it.
wrong. This is entirely yeah.
Yeah, it can't cause damage, but it doesn't say that it couldn't.
She's effectively created warp travel, but with water. You extend, you shape the space around your ship, but in this case, you shape the water around your ship so that the ship wants to go that way.
I don't see anything that would say that this is not a possible outcome. So sure, why not? You're gonna motorboat your boat with shape water.
Because Dren is nothing if not trying to efficiently be lazy. Always hire a procrastinator or the laziest person because they will figure out the quickest and most efficient way to do something.
Apparently. So. All right. Well, you have your form. You have your boat. You have your oars. You have your mast down with no sail. You have your form of hydromotion. I guess it's not locomotion, right? It'd be hydromotion.
I'll load everyone in. And I'll be so pleased with myself.
Does Dren assume that once the boat's in the water and everyone's in, does she assume like the Captain Morgan's pose, like the one foot up on one of the benches?
Oh, I have to go full on like 1776 George Washington crossing the it needs to be epic. There needs to be a flag flying behind me or something.
Well, the flag could just be like on your shoulder, holding his shirt up.
Yes.
Little tiny shirt.
I'm helping.
Don't I have color sprayers? Oh, I've got dancing lights. So dancing lights are just poofing behind me. Yeah. It's epic.
I start playing a shanty on the lute.
Oh god, is it super small? If they went with your size, that'd be great.
And
Once the shanty really gets going, instead of like holding the shirt up, Thunic starts dancing like he thinks people do on ships.
And it's gonna look like just like the mice dancing in Cinderella. Just and I just in my head it just is happening on Drenmai's shoulders. You got Eno on one side playing his thing, probably adding a little lyrics here and there. Doing a little you know.
Yeah, but I can't press the thing, so it's like.
But it's like,
Yeah.
it's got the right rhythm and everything. The squeaks are in the right key.
Yeah.
It's Shanties in the. It's your new album, Shanties in the Key of Squeak.
Ship it.
Literally on. Well, it's a boat. It's not big enough to be a
Oh
ship.
damn! Wow, I
Aha.
didn't even realize what I'd done.
You see, it just happens naturally
Hideous.
for you.
Yeah.
You don't even need to try. So the boat's just, and it's not fast. It's not like speedboat, like planning, one of those. But it's you're moving along, like putting along down the river. It's faster than walking. It's faster than drifting. Maybe a little bit safer too. And the boat starts going down, and so you start following the river around. And as you're going down the river, the trees are creating like this cathedral effect overhead, is how high and tall they are, arching over top of the river. Occasionally little, hitting some sun-dappled portions. You can feel get a little warmer because you're on the water. It gets a little bit colder. Not like you're out in the middle of a major body of water. And for the most part, it's a pretty peaceful, quiet little journey that you have going there. And you travel most of the day, and you can see that the sun is starting to sit low in the sky, starting to get closer to the horizon, and you feel it's going to be night pretty soon. You still you still have hours left. You still have probably a good 12 hours left, half a day, in order to get to where you're going to go. Are you going to attempt to go through the night, or are you going to make camp for the evening? And is there anything else that you are attempting to do along the river? Is there any other actions that you're taking rather than me just fast forward? We can fast forward. I'm just saying, if there's things that you were looking to do along the way, aside from this is obviously a short rest. I would count this as a short rest. Not that I don't think you needed it because you had your rest on the dragon flying in.
I don't know if there's anything specifically that I would try to do, because I'm still having to concentrate on the water every hour.
Mm-hmm.
But we will have to make camp because I won't be able to just go through the night because I'd still have to be maintaining concentration. So I'll have to, once it's like nighttime or whatever, or maybe a little before nighttime, we can. Now, does Tiny Hut, is it gonna cast at tiny form, or are we gonna have to make camp?
I mean, the way that I did it when I was a mouse, it was a little one.
Okay, so we're gonna have to camp. So yeah, definitely before nighttime, we'll have to.
Who is looking for the campsite from the gunwales of the boat?
That would be me.
Give me
because as it gets darker, he's given up on looking for the island
the grove.
He's the grove, and I start focusing on the a place to rest.
Give me a nature survival check.
I'm not using this anymore. 11.
You think you found a
Bardic
spot?
Inspiration.
Oh, well, yeah, there was the shanty that was being sung, so maybe he's in a better mood.
Yeah.
More alert.
Plus, I'm gonna get it back anyway. So
D8?
you get a D8, yeah.
Okay.
D8.
Ooh, that was +8.
Oh, so that brings it up to a 19. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
nice.
that is a much better roll. So you thought you spotted something. You're like, oh, that looks good. That looks like a good spot. Like nothing was really grabbing your attention. There was nothing that was like, dude, that's the camping spot. It was like, that one, maybe that one. It looks like there's a lot of roots there. It might be uncomfortable to sleep because you're still thinking in probably Thunic terms of, the amount of space Thunic would need to sleep. And you're
anyone sees one that all but says "eat at Joe's" over it.
Well, then he eventually finds that one because you're about to point out one that you were kind of iffy on. Like, listen, if you have to sleep, you have to sleep. This'll do. It's not going to be great. Your back's going to hurt in the morning.
Mhm.
you know. But then you see just a little bit further upriver, right as the river starts to go around a bend, you can see a spot that is very well protected in the nook of, like in this little nook. It's almost like it's nature built to purpose. The way that the rhododendrons have grown up and created this uh, almost natural barrier against the rest of the forest. It's clear along the bottom. You feel like there's plenty of room to sleep. There'd be room to to cook food if necessary. There's room for the boat. A place for you to beach the boat. Make sure it doesn't just keep going without you. But you're able to point that out to Drenmai.
That's great. That looks really good. Right there. That one. That one. Right
Okay,
there.
okay.
That one.
And I'll direct the water towards the grove.
And it just you beach the.
Oh, and it's not gonna be like a light one because I'm gonna have to remake it in the morning anyways because it only lasts for a day. So it's gonna be like, and really launch this up on the shore. Explosions, Michael Bay explosions in the background. Yeah,
Mice go flying.
yeah, for no apparent reason.
But you find yourselves in a nice little spot here. You feel like there's room to, if you wanted to make a fire, if you need to cook anything. If you decide not to, that's fine too. Plenty of places to curl up. Lots of loose leaves and material for you to like make a little nest for the night if you wanted to. Curl up.
Hey Thunic, do you wanna sleep in my tiny hut?
Is that a proposition?
And then
I don't think Fennec would no one if one hit him over the head.
So I take his lack of any kind of response as a yes, and I cast tiny hut over like right in a spot. So there's this little like mouse sized like clear domed object on the ground, and it's like right under a tree, like against sort of some brush. There's like a little thing, so we can sleep in there, and I can like make it light up. I can change the color. It's pretty cool.
Neat. Yes.
So I make
It's a fort. Cool.
so I make it like a sort of like yellow brown color to match the leaves.
To
So
blend
sort of
in.
camouflage it, yeah.
I like it. I like it.
I think if they're gonna do the tiny hut thing, I will use my recently launched boat and I'll flip it over and I'll kind of use that as like cover. You have tiny hut, I have big hut.
Tiny boat.
You have tiny boat.
Tiny boat.
I have my
tiny boat
chalupa.
house.
It's small boat.
It's just gonna disappear in the morning anyways. So once it disappears, I'll have to wake up.
It's like an alarm clock.
I mean, figure it's it's made out of a black material, so it's gonna be super dark under there. So once like the light comes, you'll be like, oh god, it's bright.
Suddenly bright.
Suddenly bright. I won't even need Rozzy as an alarm clock. I'll have sunshine.
A random frog that decided to hang out on the top of it to catch bugs is like now in your face.
Oh,
It is
God!
it's just as alarmed as you are. He's like, what happened? What's going on?
What the hell happened here? Okay. So, all right. So you all bed down for the evening.
That frog, that like voice almost made me think of like Ari Emery, who's like drill sergeant frog. Are you stupid?
What the hell are you doing? Get off my obstacle course, pal!
Damn it, Private Pile!
Damn it, pal! You go over obstacles like old people. Fuck!
Wow.
Get off my obstacle course, pal!
I need a frog that's like that now. Jen needs a new companion. Oh, she's got the sweet Rozzy. Now she needs drill sergeant frog. Next project.
Um,
It's your fault, Yvonne.
right. So you all bed down for the evening. You got your little tiny hut, camouflaged as well as you could. And you got your little boat.
That is not camouflaged at all.
But it's wood. It's all
wood.
natural, biodegradable.
From the Shadowlands.
Yeah,
Shadowfell.
it's locally sourced,
Kind of.
bespoke. Relatively so. Can I get you bed down for the evening and you do your little curl up, like mice do, little tail over the nose.
Yeah, and since their portion like packed have gone very small, I'll take my food stash and give like some to them, so that way it's such a waste.
Well, think of how more efficient the grocery store bill is going to be now.
Exactly. Once they get big again, they'll have normal portion food again. But if they eat it now, it's just a waste. There you go.
And you all bed down for the evening. Amongst the sounds of the forest, with crickets and the frogs and the wind blowing through the trees. Frogs, ribbit. Can
And
I?
before, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, can I get, please, a perception check from everybody?
But as we're going to sleep, or as we're in the thing, I say, Sonic, have you ever eaten eggs with peppermint?
No,
What?
that sounds weird and gross.
Gross.
Oh, okay.
Why?
I was just wondering.
Okay.
Carry us.
I got a 14.
I got
14
an 11.
and 11.
14 as well.
14 as well. Well,
Y'all die.
you're all dead.
Fireball.
Fireball,
Time roll
fireball,
here.
and death.
Overwhelming stench of peppermints and eggs everywhere.
Ugh. That's just not a good combo. I mean, like, just think about that in your nostrils for a minute. Peppermint?
I mean,
And
people put,
Eggs.
and then I say, but then if people put pepper on eggs, why wouldn't they put peppermint? It's just an extra?
Extra 4 letters. What could the difference possibly be?
Just 4 more letters.
Has Eno ever had peppermint or eggs?
Oh yeah, both. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I just never had them. Yeah, just never had them together.
Okay.
Like someone
Well,
someone had to be the first person who had cheese and pear together and be like, "Whoa, this is amazing." Right? So maybe why not?
No, I think I have to try and make a very small amount of scrambled egg with peppermint just to see what happens.
Just to see.
I'm. Yeah.
Both
It
I
might
will
be
not
interesting.
partake in
both the
this.
player and the character.
Yeah, it might be fantastic. It
Who
might
knows?
kill me. Who knows?
It's not gonna
I
kill
mean, chicken and waffles. Who came up with that idea?
Right?
So.
So Eno and Thunuk, being that you are mice, you're a little more skittish than most normal humanoids would be.
Never mind. I was gonna say, but you've given us advantage because we're mice and we should do this again.
No,
But we've apparently succeeded, so never mind.
no, I shall not give you advantage. Nah.
Wow.
No, but because you're more skittish, your challenge rating was lower for this. You had a lower threshold to meet, and you have met that threshold. And you hear something.
Predator.
Yeah, that's the feeling you get. You have feeling of predator approaching. There's a sound of something moving very, very quietly through the forest. But it's the sounds that, if you weren't listening for it, they would blend in with the normal sounds of the night. But it's just enough out of sync that your mouse senses are tingling and saying, "Whoa, no, something's not." Like both of you, they're just sort of like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's not like a starting awake. It's like just the eyes open. It's like, and you're like, you go from sleep to awake like that. It's like,
Okay.
and there's a smell on the air that tells you that there's something approaching. You're not sure. It just seems like the smell might be getting more pronounced, and it is not a pleasant smell. This is a predatory smell.
So I think the first thing I would do is I'd say, Drenmai, are you awake? There's something coming.
So I roll a self-constitution check on how hard I'm asleep, because I know I'm a hard sleeper.
If you would like to roll a constitution check to see how well you're sleeping.
It's like pulling teeth to get her awake, so...
I feel like that should be a note that you put in your character sheet.
It is.
Okay.
Once asleep, can't
Once
wake up.
Sleep is a rock, because she doesn't sleep very much, so... It'd be total of a 19, so I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I'll leave that up to the DM.
I'm going to say that because your constitution roll was so high, you're not feeling as exhausted as usual.
Okay.
So you wouldn't be as difficult. I'm not saying this is Dren's going to wake up at the drop of a hat. I'll leave that up to you, but it's not going to be like, so I think with that case, if you're checking to see how asleep you are, the lower the number means the lower your constitution is in that moment, which means like on a 1, you're like weakened at Bernie's, right?
Yeah.
Whereas at 19, you're probably willfully asleep. It's like that. It's like when it's like, well, maybe not for you clues, but maybe for other people who sleep on a normal schedule. There's like times where it's like you kind of know you're asleep and you're like, but I'm not going to wake up. I'm going to stay asleep. It's like this lucid moment. Again, I understand that this is foreign to you. Sleep is a foreign concept to you. I understand. But so Dren is kind of like this lucidly, willfully asleep.
Okay.
So it's possible to wake her up. You just have to convince her that she needs to wake up rather than weakened at Bernie's Dren, which is you could, be sitting there beating her with an oar and she would be like,
Okay. So then probably after a couple attempts of, Dren, I'll kind of wake up.
I smell something. Something's coming. Something is coming.
It's fine. Sanook farts in his sleep. I'm used to it.
No.
Yeah, you do essentially have a natural made hot box right there. So there's no ventilation in this thing. It just builds up. You gotta crawl out at the end of the night.
And now it's a mouse fart.
No. He already did that earlier.
This
This
is
is something
different.
else.
You need to lift your tiny huts and air ventilation.
Then it cops on. Predator, danger, big.
It's is it bigger than a bread box? Because it's fine. Otherwise, I'll kind of like peek open the boat. Do I see anything out there?
You can give me that would be a perception check. If you guys are going to try to figure out what it is, that would require an insight check. No, I'll give you a nature survival check.
-1 to that, so that's a 7.
7, you see nothing. You're like still like,
I don't see anything.
Can I get a bead on the smell? Can I do another smell check to see if I can determine?
yes, and smell
What it
checks
is.
for mice do come at advantage.
Yeah. I'm gonna try. Okay, it says another 14. God damn it! I roll a 7 and a 1.
You have a vague idea of where it is, and from where
Like
it
what
was to
direction
where it
it's
is. So you have a vague idea, and it seems like it's trying to circle around the camp to get upwind of the camp. Yeah, it would want to be coming from upwind. It doesn't want to be
Okay.
downwind. Because if it's downwind of the camp... Wait a minute. No, it wants to be downwind of the camp. So that way it's smelling you. You aren't smelling it. So it's attempting to move to a more advantageous... hunting position.
Can I identify it since I'm fairly familiar with smells of the wild anyway?
I will give you. You will need to do a nature check, but that would be. I'll give it to you with advantage because it is your snoot that is determining the outcome of this.
12.
You need to get new dice from Drakenforged because these are not doing very well for you. The smell is familiar.
That was the AI guy.
Well, that's why. I mean, you it's familiar. It is a familiar smell. It is not unknown to you. Again, the closest thing you can think of is wet dog and gamey raw meat.
And I know which direction it is. Generally, can I
vaguely,
tell
yeah.
generally where it is?
Yeah. You're like it's moving, but it's kind of over in this area, but it might be moving still. And
20-foot cube probably isn't going to do it. I want to do a stealth check.
You're gonna do a stealth check.
I'm going to do a stealth check, and I'm going to go try and see it.
I will allow you to do a stealth check with advantage because mice are very, very
Small.
They're small and they're sneaky. And at night in the forest, I think that would be. I think that's an advantage situation.
I'm also going to cast Pass Without Trace.
And the rules can't tell you anything else about it.
All right, so a veil of silence and shadows radiates from me, masking me and my companions from detection for the duration. Each creature I choose within 30 feet of me, including me, has a plus 10 bonus to Dex stealth checks and can't be tracked except by magical means. A creature that receives this bonus leaves behind no tracks or other traces of its passage. So I'm casting that spell. That's the second level spell.
And you're essentially now like your superhero alter ego of Shadow Mouse.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And this better not be a shitty roll. Oh, all right. So that's that's going to be a 29. Is that good enough?
No.
Well, because this isn't expressly mentioned as a situation in the rule, yeah, it's fine. You're stealthed. You are Ninja Mouse at this point.
Yeah. All right.
You are a leaf on the wind. Watch you soar.
I very
roll for
carefully.
initiative. No, I'm kidding.
I go. I just whisper into the thing. I go, "I'll be right back," and then
I probably immediately fall asleep if he's like, "I'm just gonna go leave." And I'm like, I don't even see you leave because you're in super ninja mode. So I'm just like, I don't even know if I even crawl back under the boat. I'm probably just still kind of under the boat, and I fall asleep.
Yeah, like I get Thunix's attention, and I go, "I'm gonna go check it out." Like, you know,
and as you move, it's not even like even the leaves that you go near you're like ducking under leaves and around roots, and none of them make a noise. None of them even stir. You're just zipping along.
All right. So, what do I see? Do I see tracks from it first? Like, first I'm looking for its tracks so that I can anticipate where it's going to be. So I don't want to come out and be like
perception. Give me a perception check first. That's for you looking for the tracks.
All right, we're gonna go Bardic Inspiration on that one. All right. So that's not bad. That's going to be. Wait, can I do 21? Right, 14 plus 7. Yeah, so 21.
You are able to find whatever it was or is attempting to move stealthily itself. So it's not leaving many tracks at all. It's trying to stick to stones and places where there's already leaves that are on the ground, so that way it's not leaving tracks. But you are able to pick up a trail of where this thing is going.
In between, like equivalent, but not a long rest.
Not a long rest. Because you need to complete an entire night's sleep in order to have.
Yeah, but we got the short rest, so
you got the short. Yeah, you got the short rest of the stick.
All right, so then that puts me back to just using one Bardic Inspiration point. All right. All right, so I can see that it's kind of being stealthy too.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see generally where it's going. Like, I have an idea?
Yeah,
of where it's
based on
going?
where you walked, where the direction it was moving from before, you were able to triangulate which direction you think it might be going.
All right, I continue to try and find it. And I think I'm behind it, right?
You think you are,
Or-
yes. Yeah,
Okay.
you think you
All right,
are.
so I keep trying to find it.
Mm-hmm.
I go forward.
Before we come back to that, Dreadmai is kind of like back, like asleep under, kind of halfway under the canoe boat dugout
Yeah,
thing.
it's like it's an oversized blanket at this point. My body's under the boat, and I'm kind of like head is where the boat would curve. That's where the head is. So I'm not like you can kind of see like maybe hair.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it.
And Thunuk, what are you doing? He's thinking very carefully. No, he's moving.
Our squirrel friend is. I still remember our squirrel friend is with us.
Did he stick
come with us?
around? Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can also ask for Rozzy because he's there. I'm passed out, but he's a much better creature than I am.
Wait, but just to make sure, what did happen to our squirrel friend? Did he not come with us on the dragon?
He stay?
No, he stayed because he's from.
Okay, I thought he came with us for some reason.
No. He was from that garden at the
Yes.
estate.
Yeah. Okay. No. Yeah.
Yeah. Hamish is not with you.
Hamish is gone.
Well, he's not necessarily gone. He's just not with you.
Poor
Hamish.
He has a squirrel's lifespan. By the time Thunuk ever even gets near Waterdeep again, he'll be gone.
Maybe.
It'll be Hamish the 33rd,
Wow.
probably. The 333rd.
Aw.
There's Chase.
Puppy. Puppy, 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 puppy,
Because
puppy,
if
puppy,
it doesn't
puppy,
interrupt
puppy,
the
puppy.
D&D game, it's not a D&D game.
I know.
No. Okay, so he's gonna go onto his onto the Rocky Talkie, and hey, Drenmai, can I talk to Rozzy? Is Rozzy there? Can Rozzy help me real quick? I wanna. Can Rozzy take a look around? Oh,
That's
wow.
funny.
Was that Rozzy?
I'll
Thoughts and
I'll look
opinions?
around, and I'll motion for Rozzy to go in the tiny hut, which would be really funny because he's gonna take up most of the space. So
It's like
he'll
Dren's trying to like push him out. He's like, no, I'm sleep. It's trying to get like a sleeping dog out of bed. The dog's like, I don't want to get out of
Uh-huh.
Kicks him out.
No, you.
He slinks out kind of under the thing. He gets up to the edge of tiny hut and then kind of goes into the tiny hut and just...
he goes into ball form and
Rolls
curls
over
up
there.
in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I? Oh, is Rozzy actually big enough for a mouse to ride?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rozzy's about the size of
He's about the size of a fruit bat.
yeah, like a good
That
sized
works.
fruit bat. Like a small chihuahua, something in that range.
Yeah.
So Thunuk would never actually assume this, so he's going to ask, Rozzy, can you help me? Can you help me see high up? Like, can I ride you? Like, can I ride you? Is that okay? So we can go find this thing, this danger.
Do
From
you
sky?
have anything on you that's metal?
No,
Mm.
I
Or
don't believe
oil?
so. I don't believe so.
Not even in your bag?
He'd probably have like olive oil or cooking oil in his bag.
Yeah, but it would have been shrunk to his size.
That's fine. Because
Okay.
Rozzy's small. You'll have to bribe him with something like that because he's asleep.
Oh,
He basically comes in a tiny hut and he curls back up. He's like, I guess I'm sleeping here now.
Mom's mad at me for some reason. She
I
kicked
don't know
me
why.
out.
So I'll just snuggle with you instead.
I'll give you something. Is that what you want? Do you want a thing or something? Do you want to?
Like his non-existent ears will perk up.
Starts going through his bag. He's like, I got this this rock and this other rock,
What kind of
and
rock?
this is basalt, and this one is some sort of serpent serpentine or serpentite. I forget what it's called.
He'll
Uh.
he'll sniff the basalt one.
Serpentinite. It's high in copper and magnesium, I think, or manganese. I forget which.
Sounds like something from G.I. Joe.
It's green, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
It looks like snakeskin, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like holds things up to Razi's sniffer, and because as he assumes he is animal shaped, and therefore he behaves like an animal. Therefore, his sniffer does sniffings. And it's like, and here's some rock and another rock, nutmeg. He holds a bottle of nutmeg and shakes it. Now, I mean, I could cook something. I've got oil. I could fry something up for you. And
no, he starts munching on the basalt.
oh, okay. I start putting everything back. Okay, so we it's a predator out there. We might be in danger. So it's good to have the energy. So eat up. Okay. Let me know when you're ready.
Do the pitter patter of the feet.
Okay.
Go for a walk. So you clamber up on Razi, and you're able to get out of the, I'm not sure the mechanism, but getting out of the tiny hut, and you fly up. He flies up to one of the branches a little bit higher up in the direction that you've indicated. Mm-hmm. And you, Thunuk, and you, as you're like darting from shadow to shadow, from cover to cover, serpentining from place to place to make sure that, because there's still like, you don't want to get caught by a hawk or an owl at this time of night. It'd be terrible. Both of you give me a perception check, please.
10.
Mm-hmm.
16.
16. You almost run into what looks to be a pile of moss, like a boulder covered in moss. But you suddenly pull up short because right before you're about to walk into it, you pull up like a whisker's length away from this thing, from actually hitting it, because the smell is overwhelming at this point. It just suddenly hits you. And you, Thunuk, who would not be able to see Shadow Mouse here because he's with Pass No Trace, but you see,
he is the darkness. He is the shadow. He's Shadow Mouse.
I am the cheese. I am the, and you see from your perch, your Razi, and I see it's very, in my head it's this very like Razi's on the branch. The wings are kind of like folded back a little bit, and you're like mounted. You're both surveilling, and you see this mossy looking shaggy boulder that for a moment you almost think is just a boulder, and you just go past it because moss grows on boulders. It happens. As long as it's not rolling, moss grows on stones. But then you realize that there's a subtle shifting to it. And you realize that this is not a boulder. Both of you realize that this is something crouched. Something large to you. Large humanoid-sized thing that has this blunted dog-like face and holding a spear, arms too long, and just crouched, and you can see it's got its sights set directly on your campsite here, on where you just previously were, and you are 99% sure you are looking at a very large knoll. And that is where we're going to take our break. Break. So we're going to do a quick breakity break, and then we shall come back to see what demise awaits our party at the other side of this break. Who knows?
Sleep is what awaits.
Something. Anyway, well, we will be right back with some more Team X after this. Stay tuned.
and I'm not going to do anything with them. I already killed one. I put batteries in it instead.
Whoops.
We're back with Clues describing how she has
Tamagotchi
murdered
Pop.
Tamagotchi.
No.
That sounds like a stream that needs to happen. Welcome to Tamagotchi
Tamagotchi.
Talk.
Oh, look, see, this one just died too.
Aww. Killed all your Tamagotchi.
So sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh well.
Well, let's do other sad things like TPK. No, we're not going to do that. That would not
Sweet.
be good. That would not be the thing we want to do. But we are back from our break. And when we last left our heroes, well, Drenmai was sleeping still because Drenmai sleeps. But Eno and Thunuk have discovered a predator in the area. And it appears that this predator is a large, stinky gnoll that is crouched not too far away from the campsite, within striking distance, one might say. And you haven't had good relations with gnolls in the past. We could just put it at that. Either of my dogs, apparently. So
No one likes nose.
no,
Not
one-
even
no,
dogs.
no, not even dogs, because they're like anti-dog. They're like whatever. They're the farthest point from where a dog could be. They're just bad, awful, terrible things created by their demon lord Yingohu, or was that what it was? Yinogu, Yinogu. Anyway, am I mispronouncing that?
I don't know.
It's technically
I'm just
called
thinking-
Yinogu.
I'm just thinking Thunuk doesn't automatically assume everyone's evil, so he's probably going to check.
No, but these were the
who they're aligned to.
defilers. These were the defilers, though. Remember, Thunuk, I think, has enough of a history with gnolls to know that these are unnatural things. The gnolls are not of the natural world.
They don't know enough about D&D lore to say one way or the other, so I'm going to say okay.
Well, no, they're
Okay.
not. They're not.
I don't know.
They're of demonic origin.
Oh,
Give you a little thing here.
okay.
Created by Yinogu from hyenas that feast on the flesh. And Thunuk did have a run-in when they were attempting to get Drenmai's lantern back to where they went to the Gnoll camp, and he saw how they were just defiling nature. And we saw the one of I think the only time we've ever seen Thunuk rage at something as the defilers. And remember, there was destruction.
On that note, we're going to see him rage again.
Oh, because do we have like almost like a genetically
A mouse rage?
Well, actually, I don't think he's going to rage because he doesn't see an obvious like situation of them defiling nature like they normally do. But he's going to be like, if this gnoll could detect a stink eye, he would be smelling it.
Well, fortunately, stink eye does not actually emit smell. Otherwise, yes. So
It does, however, emit harmful radiation. He has cancer now.
and anywhere from 5 to 20 years, he'll be dead. Anyway, or maybe sooner if you get your way right now. What is it you would like to do, knowing that you have this gnoll in front of you? Drenmai is sleeping peacefully. And the gnoll, I'm going to say, is probably about... I'm going to say he is about 40 feet away. And he looks like you see like the muscles starting to tense in that way of like right before a predator is about to leap out of the tall grass and start chasing after the gazelles. He's starting to drop down into that form, into that configuration of muscles and tissue.
I'm going to think to myself,
What a wonderful world.
no, I don't have that one. Do I have that one? No, I don't have one. No. If he was directly below me, I think he'd just hop directly down, screaming in Little Mouse. But That's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to hop on. He's going to spur Rozzy on, and he's basically screaming and mouse at this knoll.
Oh, I love all of this.
Now, since I was about to do something too, so can we go at the same time?
Oh,
as
tell
a
me what you were
surprise
going to
round?
do, and then we're going to have to roll for initiative because obviously we're about to enter
Okay.
combat
I
here.
feel he would go first because he basically just almost ran face first in this.
Well, it depends.
I had to look around.
Well, but the idea is that you guys kind of realized around the same time, so it could be that
Yeah.
from your perch,
Yeah.
you saw and you were able to go, whereas
Mhm.
he had a startled moment. So it could be he was closer, but he's got that moment of like, oh shit, and he's doing the mouse, where it's just like hyperventilating, like if I don't move, he can't see me.
Yeah.
So it
then
could go either way,
yeah.
which is why we adjudicate. It's why we roll for initiative, Yvonne. We don't decide these things. The dice are what mediates what we do.
Well, we can roll for initiative, and then if he gets better initiative, he goes first, and then I do my thing
exactly.
right
Well,
after it.
we could do
Not
that
to
too.
mention that because he is doing his screaming thing, he does get his surprise attack. So no matter what, he'll go first.
There is no surprise round.
I can look up the rules if we're gonna go.
I remember
Oh,
Jeremy
God.
Crawford tweeting about it, and there is no surprise round. Actually, we'll look it up. Surprise attack. Hang on.
I've never understood surprise
Because they change it
honestly.
every edition.
Yeah, I really tried to understand it like about a year ago.
They don't
and I
even
was just
have
like,
surprise
I
attack
don't-
in the index here.
Shit, I dropped it.
What about the DM's guide? Do they have it in the Dungeon Master's guide?
Die.
Die, 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 die. Hey.
Put my phone back into airplane mode so it doesn't move on the droid.
Survival. They do not have surprise attack. I think in this case, I think they changed it so instead of it being surprise attack and there's a whole round, it's you get advantage on that. Or no, that's sneak attack. I'm thinking of sneak attack.
Yeah, I mean, there's like determined surprise. The GM determines whether anyone involved in the combat encounters surprised. If neither side tries to be stealthy, they automatically notice each other. Otherwise, the GM compares dexterity, stealth, check if anybody hiding and passive wisdom for a creature opposing side. Any creature or monster that doesn't notice a threat is surprised at the start of the encounter. If you're surprised, you can't move or take an action on your first turn of the combat,
There you go.
and you can't take a reaction until
All right.
that turn ends. A member of the group can be surprised even if the other members aren't.
I see. It's basically we still have it still rolls initiative. It just doesn't
Exactly.
matter where it is in the initiative.
Yeah,
order
so
because
basically,
it's not
yeah,
gonna
it would
do
be the
anything
first
surprised.
round goes. Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
let us do that. Let us roll for initiative.
Okay.
Should I just do mine now? In case
Yes,
I
yes,
can't
because I think eventually Dren's going to want to play attack the knoll.
All right.
Okay.
21.
We have Eno at a 21. Does anyone beat a 21?
No.
No,
Thonic, what do you
9.
have?
I'm
9?
Yeah.
Dren, what do you have?
15.
Okay, so we have Dren.
Whenever I'm alive.
And then, okay, so we have that, and we have that. Okay, so well, this is a surprise round, so it would be Eno, Dren, then Thonic. Being that Dren is asleep, she will not be taking action or
Mhm.
anything. So Eno, we'll have you go, and then Thonic will complete his attack because of simultaneous things. You recovered
right.
from your, very quickly.
So like, huh. And then I go, Ugh. And I whisper a discordant melody that only this knoll can hear, and it's like, this is a bad idea. You're gonna die probably. And he's got to roll a wisdom saving throw. The DC is 16.
Oh, okay. Okay. We have that though. And does he have any? No. Okay. He does not make his saving throw.
Okay. Since you did not make your save,
No, I'm fine. The Knoll didn't make his save.
you have to immediately use your reaction if available to move as far as your speed allows away from me.
Mm-hmm.
The creature doesn't move into obviously dangerous ground such as a fire or pit on a successful save. Okay, so then I roll 3d6. Ooh, that's okay. That's 13 damage.
13.
Mhm.
All right. Okay. And I guess it would be a reaction, so he would be able to move this turn. Yeah, because he's not consciously doing something. This is Yeah, because it would happen out of order.
Yeah,
The
so
reaction
he's not
happens out of
taking the
order.
reaction. He's being forced to do
Yeah.
a reaction.
So he then moves 30 feet away, like he's like still being. It's like he's backing away like a hyena would if like a larger predator approached the carcass he was trying to go at. And he doesn't want to turn tail and run.
Mhm.
But he doesn't want to show weakness, but he is backing off. He is like
Yeah, and
conceding
I did
the
move-
space.
And I do move out of the way too. Like I
Yeah.
kind of
So he doesn't step on you.
yeah, exactly. So I move out of the way and then I cast that
Mm-hmm.
basically.
So and like a low growl is being emitted. It's like as he starts backing up away from your location. Dren, sleeping. Thunuk, what shall you do with your Razi dive bomb attack?
Here's a question: have our stats changed at all?
I mean, you're a mouse, so you wouldn't have Thunuk's strength.
Okay, never mind. Not that Thunuk knows any better, because I'm about to hit him with a shillelagh. Oh wait, that's spell based. That's not strength based. Once I shillelagh my stick, I forgot that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, dive bomb shillelagh to the noggin.
So Razi, he like does like the flap up, the wings spread, and then they fold as you you know you do the skydiver right down towards the head. Let us get. This is it's a melee attack, correct? For shillelagh. You still have to hit him with the shillelagh.
Yes,
use your-
it's a melee.
And this
Don't
would
you
be a
use your
mounted
spell?
attack as well. So is there?
Don't you use your spell attack as the attack roll though?
Yeah, but still. No,
It is
that's
a
the
melee.
damage. It's the spell is the damage, but it's still a melee attack.
Yeah.
It's spelled damage though. So like I have to hit him like I was hitting him with a physical object, but damage ends up being magic based.
Okay, so as far as just the modifier for hitting, I would allow your previous strength score because I don't think that because if you're trying to hit someone with a stick, it's your strength score, right? I don't think that would have changed. It's just we wouldn't be able to use your strength score to achieve damage because a mouse is not going to do the same damage as a Fearbulg.
Roz is right. Strength for attack. You may use your spell casting ability instead of your strength for the attack roll.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, if you want to do that, that's fine too. But I'm also seeing for mounted because mounted combat. Here we go. 198 because I think you get a bonus for that too. So 198.
Take it. I was actually thinking about hopping off of Razi, but that's cool too.
Oh, if you want to do that,
I'll take the bonus.
Well, here's the. During your move, you can mount. Oh, you already did that. Controlling mount. What the hell? If you're controlling a mount, an independent mount. In other case, mount provokes an opportunity attack. There's rules for this. I don't know why I can't find any rules today. There was like I think there's a bonus if you're charging at something on a horse and you hit it, it's going to hit harder, but I can't apparently find it right now. So if you just want to use Razi as your means of locomotion to get there and then just dismounting and clubbing him, we can do that as well. whichever is going to work best for you in this situation. I'm trying to see. I know that I read. I can't remember half these things.
I mean, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at on Roll20. I'm looking at rules for it, but I don't see any specific advantage that. You
yeah, I might be.
Other than falling off the mount or
Mm-hmm.
the mount is not prone.
Okay. Well, then we'll just leave it be at that. Then okay. So you're.
Yeah, the only thing I'm saying is you don't count as disengaging, or like you don't.
You don't provoke an attack of opportunity if you ride.
Yeah,
past.
because you're on the horse.
Yeah.
And the horse just keeps running. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
okay.
and you're going at the speed of that mount. That's the other thing. You're going
Yeah.
at the mount's speed.
Yeah. Well, in this case, Razi flying, dive bombing through the air is much faster, so you're able to easily cover the distance. And so you leap off, and let's get that attack roll. Let's see how this goes.
Hey, Clues.
Mm-hmm.
I could use some more dice. Or new
Okay.
dice. Because that was a 1.
You should
Oh.
send me like the note color scheme and then like his symbol, and I'll send a set.
Okay.
Hang on a second here. We gotta, because you rolled a 1. Hang on. Well, I'll get to it in a second. I'll take the number down in just a second. But because you rolled a 1, I get to use some of my dark inspiration.
I love that a forced dismounting, you have to succeed on a DC 10 deck save.
Yeah.
Well, let's have you succeed on a DC 10 deck save right now.
So does that mean he attacked Razi?
Because
No.
I jumped?
No, because you jumped. But I'm thinking you rolled a 1, so something bad happened here.
All right.
And
Well,
I'm just this will kind of start to determine
You flew into a tree branch.
17.
17.
Force
So
dex,
you
15.
didn't. Okay, so you didn't. You didn't like trip and fall off of. You didn't trip and fall off of Razi there. But your squeaks did give away your position, unfortunately. And the gnoll all of a sudden like looks up as he's backing away and sees you, and he snatches you out of the air as you're landing.
I would argue that Dissonant Whispers would.
He can't. He just can't perform an action.
Yeah, I would argue. But
I'm going to argue it was a reaction because it happens out of initiative, and you rolled a 1.
There's a lot of failure in a 1.
Yeah.
So, but it is Zeno's turn. We're back
So I'm
at top
guessing
of
a 9 doesn't hit.
Huh?
I'm guessing my 9 didn't hit
A
because
9,
it was +8.
no, a 9
Yeah.
does not hit.
It was worth an ask.
Yeah.
all right.
Listen, if if a 9 hit, I'd tell you, but it didn't. So, and I'm not going to lie to you about this.
So he's holding the gnome is now holding. I mean, sorry, the gnoll
No.
is now holding.
Yeah, if it were a gnome holding him, it would be a much less bad situation. 'Cause it's like, oh, a gnome is holding my friend. No.
All right.
Demonic apex predator holding my friend, who is snack sized, nugget sized, one might say.
Okay.
He's like a crunchy M&M.
I'm going to cast Polymorph on the gnoll, and I'm going to turn it into a rabbit.
Okay, is there a save on this?
Yeah, there's the save.
What's the
It is.
save?
DC 16 Wisdom saving throw.
Okay. He does not make his roll.
Rabbit attack.
Oh man, I love this.
So that is a concentration spell, so I don't have Pass Without Trace on anymore.
I don't.
Eno
Yeah.
appears.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
so wait. Describe this for me with Pass Without Trace and Shadow Mouse, the shadows that just disappearing, and I describe this for me. This is like such an anime moment here. This is like a hero pose moment.
So Eno is very proud of the fact that he was able to successfully get this thing to start backing away from him, and then he looks up and he's like, it's kind of slow motion. He sees Thunuk going like and then it's like oh shit. And then the Knoll like somehow reach out and grabs him, and he is like, what? And then and he's still backing away, and just like without even like really thinking about it, he's just like, no. And the first
No.
creature that he can think of is a rabbit, and so the shadows sort of like slide off, and he points his finger, and then he like strums a chord on his lute, and the Knoll just shrinks into a little rabbit.
And so as you're doing this, it's almost like when the lights come on. It's almost like if you were to like, it's like at a Guns N' Roses concert, and you start hearing the opening chords of "Welcome to the Jungle," and the light comes on. You just have Slash standing on stage where the stage was dark before, except it's Eno, and it's like this, almost like this cape of shadow being shed off of him as it's, whatever. I don't know. He's probably not playing like a power chord on the lute. Oh, we did establish a lot of power chords because mouse fingers. But yeah, so
It's a bar chord.
yeah,
It's a bar chord, but it's just like it's like a chunk.
And just there's like this look of confusion on the Knoll's face as it compacts down suddenly to this large, grotesque, not even black, like it's like the gray of old meat that had been left out too long, matted fur, hair looking thing, like rabbit. And but you feel the grips release upon you immediately, Thunuk, and you fall safely to the ground because you're a mouse, and mice can fall from great distances and be fine, so long as they're prepared for it.
Mm-hmm.
And you were already kind of prepared for it. What are a rabbit's stats? I wonder, do we have rabbit in here? Well,
There
technically, a rabbit would have this. Well, I'll use the rat stats for this. That's close enough. It's a large rat or a small rabbit. Whatever. Be close enough.
I thought I saw something like that in there once.
Anyway, so yeah, he is now a rabbit.
Yeah. So the target's game statistics, including mental ability scores, are replaced by the statistics of the chosen beast. It retains its alignment and personality.
So it's still an enormous asshole, just an enormous asshole in a compact rabbit shell.
The target assumes the hit points of its new
I'll put
form.
the stats in Andy or in team chat.
When it reverts to its normal form, the creature returns to the number of hit points it had before it transforms. If it reverts as a result of dropping to 0 hit points, any excess damage carries over to its normal form. So if somebody does some
Just
crazy,
so you know, it has one hit
Yeah,
point.
so it has 1 hit point.
it has 1 hit point.
Yeah, well, it's a rabbit.
Mhm.
It is the rabbit.
Yeah. It can't speak. It cannot cast spells or any action that requires hands or speech.
No, it can only do its little watership down attack.
Mm-hmm.
And just it tries to go for the carotid. But anyway, Drenmai, are you still sleeping through all this?
Oh, I'm dead asleep. I mean, this isn't happening even close to me, so it's just
About 40 feet away.
Yeah, I'm asleep.
In the woods. Thunuk. And does Razi have stats? I'm just curious.
He does actually have stats. I don't know if I've ever sent them to you.
Well, if you
We
could,
also
because
probably should go over that to make sure that he's not like OP or something.
yeah, we'll take a look at that. But so for now, he's
25
probably
straight.
watching. We'll just say for now, he's swooped down. He's no longer a mount, so he's probably watching with curiosity now, because, things.
He's like perched up in a tree, like in Gargoyle.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause
Um.
now it used to be like, oh, big scary thing, I'm gonna help. Now it's like, it's a rabbit, I'm gonna lurk.
I'm going to lord over it. But Thunuk, it is your turn. You now find yourself alighted on the ground in front of... Now, there's still a mouse, rabbit, so size differential, not quite what it was, but there's still a very ugly with like a milky white eye with a scar going across the face And
Wait.
the one...
That sounds familiar. Is this a Noel we met before?
Of all the Knowles I've met before.
Give me a history check on that.
Ooh. 19.
19. The eye gives you the inkling that this might be a knoll that you've seen before. In fact, you think that this might be a knoll that you saw standing on a bridge as it tried to get in with some other ne'er-do-wells into Pinedale during a great battle, and was banished by Sir Silverton. And she muted herself when she said that, which is funny. So your steel predator friend, who had apparently warped them somewhere else. The scar looks very, very similar to that knoll. That very large knoll.
Thunder cast Grasping Vine.
Okay. And what does Grasping Vine do? Pray tell.
You conjure a vine that sprouts from the ground in an unoccupied space of your choice that you can see within range. When you cast a spell, you can direct the vine to lash out at a creature within 3 feet. I'm casting it to not lash out at it to an attack, but to grab him.
To bind.
Envelop him, yes. To bind.
Thrice I say your name, I bind thee.
The new Craft movie actually is kind of fun, just so you know.
The what?
Watch it. The new Craft movie. It is funny. It's good.
Lashing Vine?
No, it lashes, but it is a grasping vine.
Oh, grasping.
The name and the description only match each other in the fact that there's a vine involved.
Concentration up to 1 minute. So this is no damage. You're just holding them. Okay. And they need to make a dexterity saving throw or be pulled 20 feet. I'm guessing the dex is against your spell.
It must beat a 16.
Must beat a 16. Well, it is Rabbit Knoll's turn, and
That was my turn.
no, well, you just did Grasping Vine.
That's basic action.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, bonus action.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me.
Excuse me, but I only used
my bonus action. I still have action and movement that I can use any way I want, according to the rules.
Gosh.
Oh wait, we confirmed on the old D&D. Look, that's my bonus action. Okay.
Just let me do my stuff.
You stop eating your Cheetos and drinking your Mountain Dew and get in the game. Get in the game.
Wait, what was the? Oh man, come on, help me out here. The drink from like the '90s. It's Surge.
Surge.
Surge. Oh god.
Jolt? Talking about Jolt?
Jolt. It was Jolt. No, it was Surge.
No, I know. Surge was the Coca-Cola version
of Mountain Dew, or it was.
It was terrible.
It didn't go. It tasted
I
the
still
same.
have a can of it in my fridge. I could literally go get it right now.
They re-released it a little while ago, didn't they?
Yeah.
I don't know how long I've kept it.
I wouldn't open it.
It's caffeinated Ecto Cooler. Anyway,
old man, I would actually say Surge or something like that because he referenced something old and it doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
Jolt Cola.
So so you used your bonus action.
Yes.
Let us move into other actions now. Actual actions.
Well, did he succeed on his 16? I don't.
No, he can try to escape on his turn.
Mm.
That's the way I just read that. Let me read that again to make sure, because since we're apparently this devolved into a rules lawyering game.
No, it's a save.
No, I know it's in a funny way. Grasping vine. Okay.
The creature must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or be pulled 20 feet directly toward the vine.
Okay. All right. So let me try this. Let me see. So what are my rabbit stats? Hang on. Rabbit stats say he does not escape the vine. He is ensnared. He is grasped.
Thunuk is going to walk up to it, shout at it in mouse. Where are the rest of you, you defiler? He's got his little toothpick-sized shillelagh.
If it's possible for a rabbit to growl, it growls at you. Yeah, so
Can I free action bonk it on the nose? It's just a bonk. It's not just a bonk. As an intimidation tactic.
Consider that his movement.
A non-lethal damage.
Yeah, okay, I'll allow that. So you're not even going to do the 1 point of damage that would revert it to its null form. What are you doing, Dunk? Oh, shit.
Just tapping it.
Just tapping it. This is an attempt to intimidate.
Just like a poke. It's more like a...
Yeah.
It's like when Yoda...
Yeah, okay. Now listen, dude. Yoda did 1d4 with that thing, man. He was lethal with that stick. Anyway, okay, now it is...
Actually...
No, sorry.
It is the Knoll's turn.
Oh, no. I was trying to intimidate. I said that.
All right, do an intimidation check then. You're trying to intimidate
Quit
a rabbit
fucking
that's
up
a
Felix's
gnome.
turn.
I'm
God.
sorry. I keep on messing it up. Oh.
Yay!
I got a 20 on a dumb thing. I was expecting this to fail pretty hard.
Blah, 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 blah.
It says something to you in rabbit.
Crap. Lagomorphs are not rodents.
Fuck you!
It might have been that. It didn't sound nice. Whatever it said, it wasn't nice.
Yeah, it. Unfortunately, it can't really speak, quote unquote.
Like if you were a rabbit and you intimidated it, you'd be understand rabbit. But you're speaking mouse.
It understands me because it's the speech of beast and leaf, but I don't understand it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, we knew what you were saying.
Yeah.
But
I don't
listen.
think we'd be able to communicate with us.
So.
Okay. I'm done joking you around. Go ahead.
Okay, now the Knoll rabbit can go. It's going to try to escape
Yeah.
from the vines.
I have a reaction.
It does.
Oh.
It does not. It does not escape from the vines. It's like struggling against the vines as hard as it can. It's like turn around, start. It's gonna, and then because that doesn't work, it's gonna try to start gnawing at the vine. But that'll not, that's neither here nor there. For it is now Eno's turn.
Dreadmine, we have a situation here. I've got a knoll that's now a rabbit, and we need some assistance.
Fuck, I'm still kind of awake. Okay, where are you?
I guess we're about I don't know, 30 or 40 feet away from the campsite. Over.
I'll open one eye and look around. Do I see anything or anyone?
Perception check. Perception.
Perception is -1, so 7.
You think you might hear some rustling in some bushes nearby, but that's about it. You're still
I'll
doing
start
homework.
walking towards that then.
I send up a shower of sparks using prestidigitation.
I go the other direction because that's not the direction I was headed.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, okay. All right, so you did. Are there other things you'd like to do with your turn before I move along?
I've scarred the DM.
For life. Emotionally, ecumenically.
No.
No.
Whatever.
Are you sure?
Fine.
Sure. Okay. I can. Okay.
I mean, shower sparks is an action.
Okay.
It's a cantrip.
Yeah.
So.
So Drenmai, you're able to stumble your way through towards the shower of sparks that Eno sent up to you, the little flare he sent up, and you get pretty close to them, and you see that there's Mouse Thunuk poking this rabbit, this is the ugliest rabbit you have ever seen. And it's hard to make a rabbit ugly because rabbits are just sort of, they're cute. They're adorable, and this is not.
This is the most kickable rabbit in existence.
It is. You're not sure you might get something on your shoe if you did. You're not sure. This is just.
Yeah.
There's, they say there's the reason why baby animals and babies look cute is so it genetically will stir this feeling within us that we want to take care of it. Because otherwise, we would probably kill our offspring because all they do is cry and poop and just, no. But if they're cute, okay, I can get over it. There is no such reaction to when you see this rabbit. You have almost the opposite. The reaction you have is, I should kill this rabbit. It's just ugly. I'm
still going to look at Mouse Eno and be like, Noel?
It's tied up in these vines. Just
I used a spell called Polymorph.
Mm-hmm.
It's now a rabbit.
That thing?
Yeah.
Is it behind the rabbit?
Pick
up the rabbit, shake it like you're Noel.
So you pull it up from the vines, and it's like the vines are still trying to pull it back down to the ground, and the thing's just sitting there like trying to claw and just.
I'm gonna.
It's a little
like
you're used to Dren is used to having her hands dirty from work, but this is just a different level of greasiness coming off of this thing.
I'm not gonna like it, so. And I'm still really tired. I'm just gonna kind of pick it up and look at it. Like, you're causing my sleep patterns to be messed up. I don't sleep very often, but when I do, I want to sleep. And apparently, my friends can't handle you. So I'm gonna cast suggestion on it and tell go that way. Forever.
What is the save on that?
Wisdom.
Okay, and what does the
16?
It does not make its wisdom saving throw.
I set it down and I let it go away. Shoot.
The suggestion only works for one turn, correct?
It works for 8 hours.
And for the first hour, it's going to be a rabbit. And then that's going to wear off. And then it's going to turn back into a knoll for 7 hours.
Keep going. And this doesn't require concentration? It
does.
Okay.
So we'll see how long I stay awake.
Yeah, I was going to say, because as soon as you fall asleep, concentration is meh. So the rabbit...
Right now it's just bolting.
It bolts. It just takes off into the woods. Hope that an owl doesn't attack it. Because
I don't care. No owl is going to want to eat that. And I turned around and I started walking back towards my boat. And now I'm hungry.
So rations are had.
Yeah, I will sit there and I will eat something for an hour or two before I figure that it has gone far enough away.
But the boat's gone now, right?
Well, it lasts 24 hours, so technically it should last till the morning.
Oh,
All
it's not. It was the water thing that was
So
concentration.
how far away? We're going to do some calculations here.
Okay.
So a rabbit's movement for an hour.
How far?
Speed is
Rabbit.
35, or it can burrow 5. But it can do 35 feet per turn. If a turn is
It's every 6 seconds.
6 seconds, so 350 feet per minute.
Mm-hmm.
The average bunny can run anywhere from 25 to 45 miles per hour.
Well, I'm just looking at the speed that we're using in the stats here.
Yeah.
In the stats, it says it's 35
You gotta
feet per
use-
turn. So it doesn't matter. It's an aggregate of what it can do over time.
Fine.
So 350 feet per minute times 60 minutes. So it goes 21,000 feet.
Feet per minute.
No, per hour.
Per hour.
Per hour.
Then I
That's
times
5
that by
miles.
2 hours.
So 5 miles. It's gone 5 miles, and then for another hour as a knoll, that's 30 feet. It actually goes slower as a knoll, apparently.
Yeah.
So
What is
after about 2 hours, it's about 10 miles away. You figure, give or take.
That in my mind, that'd probably be enough to allow me to finish sleep, because this is what, like 2 o'clock in the morning or something that this will happen.
Yeah, probably in the
So
at the witching hour.
yeah, figure like, okay, I'll wait till 4, and then I'm gonna go back to sleep, and then wake up in another couple hours when the boat disappears, and then we can continue on. So yeah, 2 hours is probably enough. It's far enough away. It's slow walker, so it's not gonna make it back to us very quickly, if it cares that much.
How far will it go? I'm just going to see this here. So if we do 30 feet times 10 times 60. So yeah, it would still be 4 miles away, even if it immediately turned around and started coming back by that point. Yeah. So,
So-
it works out. Calculations work.
Calculations check out.
The math checks out.
Math
So
checks out.
As Dren starts walking back towards the camp after casting that spell, I
Could
say,
you crunch the numbers one more time on that, just to make sure?
hey, Thunak, do you think there's other gnolls around here? There was gnolls. Remember that time we fought the gnolls? Is that?
That's one of
You
them.
think
That was one of them. There's lots of
What?
those around here, probably. Yeah, that was one of them. I remember that one from the bridge. That was one of them.
Oh, the bridge. And Eno kind of like shudders a little bit because I was like, I had a fear spell going on. Like most of the time, I was on the other side of the bridge because I couldn't. Like I was afraid, and I was like, oh, the bridge. Oh, and I like try to play it off, but like I've got this flashback going on.
It's like bridge PTSD.
Yeah.
Listen, that was a
Bridge, bad.
traumatic battle for our Eno.
That was a bad bridge.
It was a bad bridge.
And as a matter of fact, I couldn't write a song with a bridge in it for like a good month after that.
Couldn't even.
Couldn't even think about bridges at all. Not even Jeff Bridges.
Hands moving with a loop. It's like,
No, let's go back to the chorus. The chorus feels safe.
I like going here. Nah, we're back to here again.
First chorus. That's good. We'll just do that. So then, and
Starting
maybe
a musical trend.
maybe a coda. That's fine. So he shudders and then he's like,
Every chorus is just another verse.
do you think the gnolls stole the eggs? Do you smell peppermint? Is there any? Do you smell peppermint?
No, but if I wanted to not smell like a gnoll, I would use peppermint. Mm-hmm.
That's a lot to
Probably.
unpack.
If I wanted to smell like something else, probably use peppermint. But that was a really specific peppermint. I don't think they would use that one. Peppermint hides a lot of smells,
Oh,
like rotten meat. Gnolls usually smell like rotten meat.
ew.
You didn't smell that?
I don't.
They're gross. They're really gross.
Well, yeah, I definitely smelled the gnoll. I don't want to smell the gnoll again.
Yeah. And peppermint hides that really well.
You want to go back into the hut?
Yes.
So, back into the hut. Drenmai's back under her boat, and we're able to sleep peacefully until morning. And because it was brief combat, I will allow it to be a long rest. I'm not going to be a
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah, you're the best
Congrats.
DM ever.
best DM ever. Even though you don't pay attention to
Technically,
rules.
That's not the rules because we didn't actually straighten out.
Because Dren might actually wake up, and because you're mice and you don't need to sleep as long.
Yeah, because we're short.
Yeah. How about a little rest? Anyway, dawn breaks over the Chondawood. It's a chilly morning. There is a slight fog rolling off of the edge of the river, and you probably have a few more hours of the boat before you would have to reinstantiate it. So you could either chance it or you can dismiss it and then do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be dismissing it and redoing because the last thing I feel like doing is trying to rescue mice from a moving current. So I'll go find another stick and then recast.
You're able to find. You've done this before now, so you found the stick. You're able to do your whole. You're able to do your whole rigmarole. Magic sounds like bong sometimes, and you're able to remake the boat. Everyone piles in, assume the George Washington position, and
motor time. So pleased with this mechanic right now.
It doesn't say it works. It fits.
Say
It doesn't say I can't do it, so I can. Unless it's expressly forbidden, I can do it. So, and it's a relatively peaceful morning. You do notice that the direction that you are heading down the river was the same direction that the gnoll had fled in rabbit form. But you are on the river, and it was not, that you could tell. And it's a few more hours of meandering down the river under power, whatever it is, water bending power, and Thonic
think make water bending motions behind the boat.
Listen, they powered boats in Avatar using water bending. But Thonic, things are starting to look familiar. As familiar as things can look, however, as years pass in a forest. It's in a state of constant flux and change. But it's starting to look familiar. And you think you're starting to get close to where this little alcove on the right-hand side is going to be. You know that, I say little, but we've established it was like a couple acres. But as the river starts to flow closer and closer, and eventually it abuts directly up against the mountain. The fire steep mountains just plunge directly into the side of the river, and you're like this. You start thinking, this is it. This is where. This is part of it that that it's gonna be coming up. And eventually, as you round a bend in the river, you see that suddenly the mountain just sort of makes a really quick, just hangs a real quick right and just shoots back, and there's this like forest within a forest with dense reeds growing along the side of the riverbank here, and you are like 87.9% sure that this is the grove where that peppermint grows.
I think we're here. We're here. Yeah, I think this is it. We should go ashore. Oh. Hits button. This is it. We should go ashore. This is where we have to go.
He's thinking about something here. Steers the boat
towards where Mouse the Nook is pointing.
You're able to beach it. And you can see that the trees are actually very, very thick and tall here on both sides. It would have been very difficult for Lemmy to make an approach. And because it's a very short distance between the edge of the river and where the trees in this grotto start growing. They grow very densely, and you can see only for about 10, 15 feet or so of the mountain before it disappears back into the forest. But from what you can see, it is very, very sheer. It's not the general slope, the gentle sloping of a mountainside. This is almost like at some point it looks like something either fell or carved or whatever, but the cliffs shoot hundreds of feet above the ground, and it's almost like the trees are standing sentinel at the approach here. That there's like it's almost like a row of tall trees that are acting almost as a guard fence. You could get between them. There's room, but these are very old trees with very deep roots, and prevent you from seeing much more into the grotto. But you know it is beyond that from as a kid. You remember when you crawled up onto the little beach right there, and immediately the smells of herbs and the growing things, and it was all a little different than what you had been used to before, and which is what drew you in the first time you were there. Because even though it was probably traumatizing and you were a little scared, I also think that even a young Thunuk thought with his stomach, and it was, hey, wait, these smell.
All children really think with their stomachs, if you think about it.
True, it's an important thing to eat, and those same smells waft into your nostrils again in mouse form, maybe even more acute because you're a cute mouse. The smells are even more pronounced because of your sensory abilities. But now you're also having a different point of view, because as a kid it was, oh, that smells good, I wonder if I can eat that. Now, all these years later, we have established that you can eat anything, right? Anything can be food. But now you're starting to also combine it with, oh, this is what I would make with these things. You're starting to think about, well, maybe peppermint with eggs, but maybe not peppermint with eggs, because you could smell that there's other herbs and roots that are growing here that are common roots, but because of whatever properties exist on this side of the river in this grotto, they have different smell properties, therefore they must have different taste properties. What could I cook with these things? My potatoes au gratin would be amazing if I used the garlic from here. But all those memories come washing back of the things that you discovered while you were here in this grotto.
Now, I go by memory and smell, and I try to lead us towards where the peppermint I remember growing. Yeah.
Give me this would be, I guess, a
Nature?
Is Nature's perception, right?
Nature?
Yes.
Is no. Nature's nature.
If you're going to roll a survival check, is that... I thought that was part
Nature's
of the... Wisdom, okay. But you are using your...
Perception is wisdom. Nature's intelligence. Survival is wisdom.
It would be a survival check, but
Okay.
because you're using your snoot to determine it, I will allow for advantage. Because the rules say if you use your nose...
Bob Ross 20.
Ooh,
Cool story, Bob.
a Bob... But we said that's not natural 20. That's... No. It is a natural 20, right?
No.
No.
No, I painted that 20.
You painted this 20, so it's not a filthy 20.
Well, so wait, is Bob Ross 20's natural 20s? Happy little 20?
That's what I thought we did.
Okay, well in that case, Cronenbergian 20.
A Cronenbergian 20. Disgusting.
I've slapped some new pieces
20.
onto it.
A foul 20. A non-Euclidean 20.
Frankensteinian. Flesh gold.
A Kafka-esque 20. Yeah, you're able to work your way probably about halfway into this place, and it's a little swampy in places because water sort of collects. You're still right by the river. You know, things don't necessarily drain the same way. It's not quite swampy, but it is moist. And you're able to find a patch of the peppermint that when you smell it, it is the same peppermint. It matches if there was a peppermint fingerprint, you would have a match. And if the peppermint committed the crime, you found your culprit. But peppermint generally does not commit crimes.
So this is the peppermint.
But it's like holding a stalk of it.
Yeah. But he's like, I think I was expecting more, but maybe we should check for clues and footprints and stuff.
Yeah, I'll be proud of him for leading us to the grove. But I do like the look around, and it's like the John Travolta now.
Now what? Where?
So I guess I'll try to appear to be emphatically investigating for something.
Yeah.
Like tracks or
I'll do
disturbance in the force. I don't know at this point.
I'll do a survival check to see if I can find tracks.
Then roll for that. Please roll for that.
Will.
We'll do it.
We got a total of 16.
It is difficult to find tracks because of the muddiness and the general moistness of the area. But you do uncover one moist sack. You find a moist you find of spores. You find you do find one footprint. It's old. It's not not old like ancient, but it's obviously not brand spanking new.
Not fresh.
It's not a fresh track. It's not freshly moist. It's old moist. But it appears to be. Well, you found the track, but I guess if you want to identify it, that would be a different survival. Yeah. I think that would be a different survival role.
Yeah, and like I would be, since I found the track, I would be trying to sort of compare it to the amount of displacement that was done at the treasure hoard. To try to see if if a creature that made that track caused the amount of displacement that I saw at the hoard. Too.
Okay. That would be no, because investigation would be finding it. I think this would be, a straight intelligence check. I think, because this is of comparative nature.
Okay.
Huh.
I think.
Okay.
No,
that's fine. No, I agree, but
yeah,
it could be investigation.
Well, that's if you get it back to the lab.
Yeah, I think investigation. If I was to be able to compare them both at the same time, maybe.
Yeah.
Bardic inspiration. Okay. All right, so that's a total of 16.
A total of 16.
10 plus 1 plus 5.
I just picture he's like looking at it and he doesn't understand it. I'm gonna play the loop.
Yeah, I started going like do.
And then you remember, wait a minute, I can use my tail to measure things now because I could do.
Yeah.
And
That's great.
This seems deeper. Something heavier than what you noticed what you noticed at the other one. It's for you right now, you think it might be too degraded to really get into what left the track. It seems like it might have been humanoid. You're not sure. But it was definitely something heavier, the impact crater comparative.
Just ran into Knowles. Is it at all Knoll-like?
Yeah, does it look like a knoll? Was what it was.
Well, I can answer for you, but if Thunic is wondering as well, Thunic would have to also make.
Yeah. So I would say, hey, I found a track. Hey,
Scamper, 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 scamper,
bounty
scamper.
trap.
And Thunna, give me a roll here, a survival check for determining what this might have been.
11.
It's not Knoll, but you don't know what it is.
We don't know.
You don't know. You just
No,
don't know. There could be other things, clues to find here at this scene. But I feel like it would have to wait until next week for you to continue your investigation.
Oh, it's that time? Wow.
It is that time already.
Table flip. Okay.
Fortunately, my table's over here. And I'm not flipping this thing because it's heavy. But yeah, so yeah, I think the investigation will need to continue next week when you can find more clues, look for the things, find clues that are not our clues, but the clues for this. It's a whole different thing.
Right here.
Yeah,
Two different things altogether.
two different things altogether. Sometimes the same, but not always. It depends on whether Mercury is in retrograde. It really does. Anyway, I don't know. I don't even know what that means. We're gonna come right back with table talk. So stick around. And bye-bye. We'll be right back. Burb. Okay, we are back with all the
Oh my
planning
God.
needed. All the
I wasn't
plans.
prepared.
We weren't prepared. I wasn't. That's why we're not having sourdough.
Oh, sourdough.
I would like some sourdough. I love sourdough. Whenever we went rock climbing, our big thing at the end of the week, at the end of the weekend when we would go rock climbing, was we stopped at this place. It was called Baucus, and it was just like a little. Before there were like microbrew places. Well, they didn't make their own, but they had all sorts of like microbrews on tap. And I would always get the bowl of chili, but it was the bread bowl, the sourdough bread bowl that was carved out and filled with chili. And it was usually like a weekend like this, like at the end of October, we'd go, and it was great way to finish the weekend.
It
Anyway,
makes me want. There's like one of my favorite places in downtown Seattle that has the best sourdough bread bowl, but it's clam chowder.
ooh,
You're,
Mhm.
you're selling me on all this stuff right now.
yeah, this
Mhm.
this is not a hard
Sourdough.
sell. This is the you're
Mhm.
yeah, okay.
Now I want chowder.
We shall start in quadrant 1, which is Ivan Martino.
I don't know
If he
what
shaves the
that
beard, then he's evil Ivan.
Is that how it works? Clean shaven me is the dark universe, mirrorverse me. Okay.
That's
You
what I'm
could always
saying.
braid it, and then you could be like, dwarf form.
Fat Thor?
Dwarf form with the beard.
It's not thick enough. Oh, also not long enough. All right. So, yes. The Knoll. The fact that you decided to make the Knoll someone we've met before is concerning. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. I especially I really actually like the whole waterbending thing. The fact that there's now motorized boats, and it makes perfect sense that this is how boats would be motorized. Like ferries would go from one side of the river to the next anywhere, because this is a world of magic. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
it's either some clockwork insanity or some couple of guys are just standing on each side of the boat going, all right, now we got to synchronize, do the thing, and they're moving everyone across like on an hourly basis across a river or something.
But that's if you can afford that one. If you can't, then you get the two guys pulling the rope.
Yeah.
That's like the public transportation version versus,
Well, there's the public transport. No, well, I think that the one with the guys is the public transportation one, and then because they're in a more metropolitan area or something like that, or more heavily trafficked area. Meanwhile, you're like on the other side of the mountain, where the interstate basically killed all traffic, is where this one dude's just sitting on a stool all day waiting for someone because he's got a rope and a barge, and he'll take you across the river.
Anyway. Yeah. Continuing in an anti-clockwise motion, we shall then go to clues.
I'm way too pleased with my self-portrait abilities now, so that's obviously a favorite. But then, like, the quick follow-up is going to be the mental image of Thanuk in mouse form dive bombing with Razi at a knoll, and that's just hilariously visually funny to me.
Yeah, that's pretty epic. That's a pretty epic. That's like the poster.
Yeah, pretty much.
Of like it's the back shot. It's Shillelagh up on the back of Razi holding on, dive bombing down, and just out of focus in the background is the knoll that they're going for, and it's like this summer, Xenagog.
Sparks are flying in the background for no reason. There's like all these cool effects going on. Yeah, doves, whatever.
Well, it is an Acquisitions Incorporated production, so there would be of course doves.
Well, I was seeing in my mind, like dive, spelling someone, and like doves are flying in the background.
The John Woo version.
Yeah, John Woo, very John Woo.
The John Woo version. All right. Moving along to Raz.
I just a second ago, while you were saying that, I was just picturing Thunna coming down with the stick, going like and the knoll, and with absolutely no context. Then you hear the record scratch stop. And go, you're probably wondering how I got here.
Yep, that's me.
For the boat, I was trying to like think of anything that I could do, and I was like, oh, I have animate objects. I could make a propeller, and it only lasts 1 minute. What am I? That sucks. I can't do that. And then shape water. Yes, that's that's the awesome idea from Dren Mai.
That is
that's play of the day, play of the game.
I have to say it's one of the more creative solutions.
Yeah.
To a problem. But I was thinking, so yeah, why don't they just do that all the time for everything if people have this ability? But then you figure that's expensive. Because it means you have to have a magic user who's proficient in that specific kind of magic on the boat who's doing pretty much nothing but that. And it can only be when they're awake because it requires concentration. So they can't, they're going to need to take breaks. So then do you need two of them? So that way you can. It's going to get expensive. So there are probably people who, if the merchandise is expensive enough, if it's worth enough, right? We'll pay for the ship that has the waterbender on it. But otherwise, you have to put it onto you have to ship it the cheapest way possible. And that doesn't always include, there's a reason why things aren't flown everywhere, right? Sometimes they just get on a big old ship with a whole bunch of other containers, and it takes them however long it takes them to cross the Pacific. So I think that is an interesting. Yeah. In general, I think your guys' problem solving is always interesting when I throw things at you. It's always one of the things that I'm always.
Gotta try and bullshit it somehow. Magical bullshit.
Magical bullshit. I mean, well, listen, that's sort of the theme.
That's my brain.
But it's always like so I'd said before, it's like part of the way I approach the game is I just try to put things in front of you rather than trying to map out a plot. And one, because unless you're going to be the kind of DM, and I'm not, I don't have the ability to, to keep people on rails as far as the plot goes, you're going to drive yourself nuts. And I know I don't like, if you look at like the way Mercer runs Critical Role, there's room there, but that game's on rails, right? There's a plot, and that's also the game they also agreed to play. It wasn't like he like just threw that on them one day, but the Critical Role game is on rails. If there's plot, it's going one way, and if you go too far off the beaten path, he punches you in the throat. And so you learn, I can't go over here too much. But they're also playing a game with miniatures and a map, so it also, I think, that kind of focuses the game as well a little bit differently. I don't have that skill set, nor I don't think is that the game I necessarily would want to play, nor is it the game that you guys wanted to play when we all had our little talk about it, how almost 3 years ago we started. Yeah, and at the end of 2017. So it's been 3
I'll
years.
admit, I don't even remember how that meeting went.
It wasn't even a meeting. It was more like messaging back and forth, like, "Hey, what is it you're looking for?" And
Yeah.
because if everyone was looking to play a gothic horror game, this would not be the right theme.
It was Brian sending us all this message. Want to play a game?
Yeah, please, because my folk, I want to meet. Come on, play D&D. But
How do you feel about this? What are your limits?
yeah, well, kind of. I mean, and that's part of it too, because you hear like some of the stories of some of the DMs that dump stuff on people, where it's just like, kind of I think I told you there was a book I was narrating that the series up to this point had been PG-13, and it took a turn for a very hard R in this latest book, and it was just like, what the F, and I wasn't ready for it, but that could be. But so yeah, my thing has been, I'm just going to put a situation, a problem, a brick wall, whatever it is in front of you, and then let you deal with it. And then we'll go on from there. So the new one was, well, what happens if because you guys are level 9 now, right? Yeah, 10, level 10?
Yes.
No, I don't
Yes.
know. I can't keep track
Yes.
anymore. So level 10, pretty powerful. There's a lot you can't do, right? So what do we'll make 2 of the characters tiny now, so now we take away some of their stuff, and then we throw and so yeah, all of the, how are you gonna get down the river, how are you gonna get out of the dragons thing, how are you gonna fight a gnoll who ostensibly could kill
While it's a GTFO.
yeah, well that's who I could never have dreamed that was the way it was gonna go.
I'm gonna admit I didn't think that was ever going to happen. In my mind, I was already constructing this scene where Dren is sleeping under the boat, like, leave me alone, and there's 2 mice having this bizarre epic combat with a gnoll, and it's just sort of like the camera cuts back and forth, like snoring Dren to like dramatic music, but in mouse.
Or
and
even
a
better,
very confused gnoll.
I always like the thing in movies where, and TV shows, they do this too, where you have the person in the foreground doing something absolutely mundane, and there's chaos just happening silently behind them.
Lethal Weapon.
That would be Dren.
Yeah, that would be. There's a great scene in one of the later seasons of Buffy the Vampire Slayer where that's happening, where the principal is having a conversation with someone, and in the background is Buffy going back and forth chasing this monster back and forth with as they're trying to kill each other. Yeah, so usually if I wanted to make combat challenging for you, I have to throw not 1, not 2, but probably closer to 10 gnolls at you, because a lot of stuff you guys can one-shot. You guys have some cannons in there that are just like, and dead. But now it's like, oh, could 1 gnoll be enough for Dren and 2 mice? The answer is no. Apparently it wasn't enough. Because it's now the ugliest rabbit in the world that's been commanded to go away. So, but it's always fun to see how you guys are gonna twist reality.
I'm just now like motorboated, like water bended boat is now officially in my head for any future games that I ever play.
Well, I mean, think about it. How are you gonna get back upriver?
Mhm.
You gonna
I
walk?
can bend the water in any way I want.
Yeah, are you gonna walk like a plebeian?
No, I can make the water move upstream.
Exactly. It just takes a little bit longer, but it's better than walking.
Boat, spit in the eye of nature and take me upriver.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
Now, right before we got on stream, we had said that, so, and we saw it a little bit today, was that the use of prestidigitation to clean clothes. And Roz has done this, Eno has done this a lot. He did it today and got that nice, got a little extra floof in his fur. But we had said before, or Clues had said, well, what it was like, it's the spell is instead of it just falling off, you're taking the shirt off and it's just brand new clothing. You're peeling off the old stuff and your clothing is still there. What are some other alt modes of spells do you think would be interesting, of things that you've seen cast where it's like it essentially is going to achieve the same thing, right? I peel off the clothing and there's the same clothing underneath. It's the same as prestidigitation. What other kind of alt spell effects where you end up in the exact same place, but you're taking a different route? You're taking the scenic route to get there. That is the question of the week.
I'm gonna look at my spells and see like what alternate endings could have.
Like could shocking grasp be the effect of like building up a static charge, or no? That would still, I guess, either the ramp up or the actual route getting there. I'm
almost thinking like, because there's now multiple planes in D&D, it's like Blink wouldn't just give you between the current one and the ethereal. You just start blinking between different realms.
Or if it's like just different realities.
Yeah, different.
Like it's like the alternate reality of like you're still here in this place. It's just that, but this one, there are no carrots.
Yeah, it just thinking of like different planes of existence. I think Blink could really.
I now actually, now we're mentioning that, I'm having this mental image of like where Blink takes you to a specific realm, but it's where, because you want to get from point A to point B when you're using Blink, it's where the universe is actually smaller, but you arrive there in the same size as you were. So you're basically strolling from the same point that you were at to another point. But like in this universe, everyone's like constantly surrounded by giants suddenly appearing and disappearing all around them. It's a nightmare scenario where you could be minding your own business in your kitchen, and next thing you know, 20 times taller version of you is there. Your roof is gone, and it went for a walk in that direction.
So for those people, they're living in Lovecraft country, and you are the great old ones that are just randomly appearing and driving people insane with your mere existence, and then you blink out. I love it.
Like just stuff, or like Blight, because it uses necromantic energy to drain all moisture and vitality out of things. Be like, what if that had an alternate ending to it, where that because you're using necromancy, if you kill something by it, you're actually just turning everything into zombies.
So the Marvel Zombies version of D&D is the result of all the people using blight spells.
Yeah.
Or where does all the water go? Because we did say, man, there's a conservation. Remember we talked about before about there being a conservation of mass and magical energy.
Precise. Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. Like, who's the first person who ever invented blight? They're probably an immortal lich somewhere, because everyone keeps casting blight and feeding them.
Oh.
Or what if it's that effect on the user, like because you're using necromancy, you're draining, because it's literally the vitality. It's not just the moisture, it's the vitality of the creature.
You're Skeksis.
Yeah, and you're literally taking. Maybe that's why Dren's been able to live so long, because she's been tampering with necromancy for a while now.
Siphoning just a little bit of life force each time.
Siphoning vitality.
Essence.
Essence. Essence.
I'm totally a Skeksis.
Oh God!
Just taking 1 penny per transaction and then putting it into an account.
Well, it's like not even a full penny, right? Just like
just like a half a penny.
Half a penny off of each transaction.
She's Richard Pryor.
She's Richard Pryor.
3.
Oh my God!
Speaking of which, you can go get the new D&D or the AI currency. If you didn't see that,
I did see that. So she can now be called Drenskek.
Yeah, I'm 100% now Skeksis.
Skeksis. Is there a world where someone cannot, for the life of them, get their kitchen sink to stop dripping because of all of the moisture from blight ending up as a leak in their kitchen that you just can't ever get rid of? They don't know where the water's coming from. The plumber has got no idea. The roofer's like, you don't have a prop, and we don't know where. And it just constant. There's just water damage appearing everywhere, even if it doesn't rain. Yeah, I saw. Yeah,
Those are pretty neat.
they're very
Okay,
cool, and they nest.
Stackable.
Oh,
Yeah,
they
nest.
really?
Yeah,
I
You
always
have-
like that.
yeah. The it's like the bronze, silver, and gold on the bottom, I think, and
Mhm.
Oh no, like they don't sandwich together and like interlock.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. They'll stack, so it'll
Yeah.
be a gold one, silver one, bronze one,
And-
and they
and-
all rest within each other.
no. There's a coin for I forget the game, but
Oh no,
the-
it doesn't do that. Where it, like,
Okay.
goes inside itself. Here, I wonder if they have the stack.
It's
Uh,
also
I-
known as a
but-
turtle.
okay, yeah, that's still cool.
Yeah.
So they stack in themselves.
Yes,
And
it's
there's a
stackable.
hole. So I'm 100% making this a pendant for myself, just FYI.
It is stackable.
They're stackable.
Stackable. They stack on top of each other.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I think I could come up with a lot of alternate endings for a lot of things.
If I got
Which would
actually,
be-
yeah, I'm really liking these ideas actually now.
Totally want to become a Skeksis now.
So if it has to go somewhere else, for example, but that means there's some reality somewhere where every time we cast a spell to make something go away, the thing goes there.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because you can't create or destroy energy in any universe. So
Right.
it has to go somewhere.
Somewhere.
So maybe that's like where the water realm came from. It's
Maybe.
just everyone's lighting.
Yes, things are
Literally
instantiating and
its own universe.
destantiating, right? Is that would it be it would be destantiating, I guess? Disinstantiating.
Disinstantiation.
Disinstantiation.
Uninstantiating.
Yeah, because
You
it's
know,
not just the conservation of heat, right? It's the mass has to go somewhere. And like disintegration is just disintegration, right? You're transferring something from what it was into its base atoms. So basically it's being exchanged for a very quick flash of heat. So like disintegration is just it's destroyed in that its carbon molecules are now free floating throughout the world right now. But yeah, I mean, anytime you're making something go away or appear, where did
Well,
it
yeah,
come
like
from?
Featherfall, you're literally having to. I guess the scientific way behind it is that you're literally thickening the air that you're following through.
Mm-hmm.
So you're having to, if you're pulling essentially more air, so you're combining more oxygen.
I'm
then
thinking.
you can kind of clean yourself. So you're literally pulling oxygen and all this stuff away from other creatures. So it's like, are you killing the forest because you're?
Well, yeah, because if you're like in a
constantly
large enough space, right, it's not going to matter. That little bit of air, it's not going to make that
You're
much of a
like,
difference.
hey.
But if you're in a tiny space doing that, could it thin out the air enough where it's like, you know,
I'm actually thinking, what if the guy, the magic user that came up for Featherfall,
mhm.
was just too dumb to understand what was happening? They're like, the air thickens. You don't fall slower. What's really happening though is they're taking all of their momentum and just pushing it on someone else somewhere else. It's like someone in another reality is just walking around. Next thing you know, jerky jerking all over the place.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Like, and that, it just might be like down the street, like they're just
Oh yeah,
walking.
some other guy over that way, or like
You know what it is? It's you're dispersing all of your momentum, right? But it means that when someone goes from like the next to last step to one step down, rather than just stepping down, as soon as they step off, they start at terminal velocity. Just
So instead of concentrating air, you're exchanging your gravity for somebody else. So somebody's just walking along. Your gravity,
I don't understand why I keep putting on weight.
theirs
Or-
is increased. But if you're falling at terminal velocity, they're fucking pinned to the ground.
That's what I'm saying. Is like it's that way. If like they're like there's like some like kid that like is jumping like jump roping, and then like just suddenly out of nowhere they jump and they just grease spot because it's like they land from 3 inches above the ground at terminal velocity.
or you're banking it for later. Like every time you're going up a step and you're like you think you overstep and you fall. No, this is that extra momentum that you're having before suddenly kicks in.
Oh, well, have you ever done the thing the other way though, where you're coming down and you think there's one more step and there's not,
Exactly.
and you boom and you bounce? That could be, there we go. Maybe it's because it's not always terminal velocity. Maybe you got the momentum from the very beginning of the fall.
spreading it out through history.
Exactly.
What if like someone who is chronologically clumsy and keeps bumping into things and falling over? They're not. It's just their future self is screwing them over with by pushing over this, adding all this stuff, and
just sending it back through like
Yeah.
a quantum entanglement.
Oh, no. It has to 100% be a familial like thing. So you can blame your klutziness on your forebears that they fucked around with a lot of gravity.
So there's some quantum entanglement within your life
Yeah.
force that connects you to yourself in time and in other realities.
Yeah.
But if one of them is screwing
yeah.
around,
or the inheritance thing. So, for example, like some rakish James Bond like wizard or like bard wizard rogue guys like going around like saving the day, always like just a step ahead, all this stuff. Every single descendant from that point on, fucked.
Yep.
Yeah.
they're using all the luck.
If you have all of your luck, you're screwing your future generations of, your children and your
Yeah.
grandchildren.
Every single one of them, stub toe. They keep breaking glasses by bumping it, by
Mm-hmm.
by
I'm totally gonna blame
playing
every
together
time
too
I
hard.
trip now on like multiverse theory. Be like, my other self, used gravity and I didn't get to use it. And
Well, we
that's
established
like-
in an earlier game when Dren made a blood homunculus
Mhm.
that she got all of the blood from a little bit from all of her other multiverse selves.
Mhm.
So all of them were feeling a little under the weather for a little bit as she created the blood homunculi, because there's a few of them, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
When you were fighting the meat snatcher. But yeah, I think I like this. So I think what we're really doing is we're talking about having to come up with the correct mathematical formulae to describe the conservation of mass and magical energy through
Yeah.
quantum entanglement.
It's basically we'd have to be creating like D&D version 6.0 kind of type thing because it has nothing to do with anything that's currently established. It's creating its own subset.
But that would be really interesting.
laws.
That if every time you cast, now, I think there's other games that do this, but every time you cast magic, like what is the not the opposite side, but what's the backlash of it, right? Like, so sorcerers have that a little bit where it's a wild magic surge, right? But what if just the very act, not like, oh, it just got out of control this once, the very act of casting magic. Now I know in not Spelljammer, in Dark Sun, it's because they drew it from the environment, right? The energy was life force drawn from the environment around you, and that's what caused it all. But what if it were like not just that? Because it's like, it's not just life force. We're talking about magical energy. That every time you cast it, you had to say, "This is the consequence."
Is it evocation that brings things into existence?
Yeah.
Okay. What if evocation doesn't bring things into existence? It's just been constantly stealing things from the world of Dark Sun.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why there's so little water. That's why everything's all haywire. They've basically you've been
There's no
taking
magic
things from.
there, so you're
Yeah.
taking all the magic from Dark Sun. I'd like to think that, especially like with this theory, it'd be really fun for people that have played a long time, and you could subsequently be like, "Well, this is the character that I did, and then I went on to have kids, and then you could play one of the kids." So you'd be like, "Well, now I have to deal with all the consequences."
Oh, that would be really interesting. The
Lag.
generational effects of magic use.
And then you'll just keep playing in the generation, and then you're like, you get down like 7 characters later, and you're like, "Man, I am fucked because I used up so much in character 1."
You know, it reminds me a little bit of sort of like just the reaction of how that would be in Star Trek: The Next Generation when they discovered that warp technology actually could be extraordinarily damaging to subspace.
Yes.
And they're like, no, it's proven technology. It's fine. And then all of a sudden, holy shit, no, it's going to cause the universe to collapse in on itself. And that's when they put the speed limit on everything to try to mitigate the damage. So it's kind of the same thing where what if it were like, for all this time, everyone's just casting magic, and all of a sudden one day it's like, hey guys, we've done the math and we're screwed. because
Stop casting spells.
the backlash starts in like 3 weeks. Well, what if we just stop? It's too late. The only thing we can do is not make it worse.
The backlash starts soon, and someone's like, "When?" Now.
And like right
It'd be
about
fun.
Boulder just falls on someone. Yep, now. So we have
I
the
like
theory of conservation of mass and magical.
Well, it just works with current physics theories. That for
Yeah.
every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. Laws of you know,
Yeah, it's
similar-
Newtonian law. It's
yeah. So all of that would fall into if you're using something, it comes from something. If you're borrowing something, obviously it comes from something. If you're
Mhm.
going to create something, it has to come from somewhere. So it'd be a fun theory to play around with.
and so if it's not the heat death of the universe, because that's a whole other thing. It wouldn't be the magical death of the universe, right? It would be the probability death, the probabilistic death of the universe, because
Well,
eventually we get to be such a point where it's like nothing but bad things can happen because it keeps on building up, that eventually it's like, well, shit, no one can survive because
Well, it's just like anything. It's a resource, and if
Mhm.
you're using a resource in excess, and if there's so many people that are learning sorcery or wizardry or whatever,
Mhm.
and you have this all concentrated on one planet in the universe, and then X amount of times throughout, however many planets out there may also be using similar.
What if it's like a rubber
Things.
band?
Yeah, you've got concentration in certain focal points in the universe. So if you're constantly drawing things, especially gravity and energy and heat and stuff like that, that's using up a lot of the things. So it's like, are we essentially creating our own black holes because we're concentrating so much on one focal point where it's like, well, you're screwed because you've made so much on this one planet. You're fucked.
I was just
'Cause
gonna
it's-
say, what if it's like a rubber band, and like you just keep pulling and pulling and pulling, and then eventually it snaps, and that's where the Big Bang comes from.
So this universe ends, and the next one,
That's us. Hi, how's it going? There's no
and it
magic
just and
anymore.
everything, and so all the dispersed energy finally gets sucked back up, and the energy oh, I like this. Anyway, I like all this. Well, we'll have to start doing we'll have to start putting together the equations so we can put the proofs together and submit to all the appropriate journals.
My D&D theory.
Listen, I think it's a fantastic idea, even for just like a campaign setting, like you were saying, like if we were to say,
Oh, yeah.
all right, Team X is wrapped up, and Team X Next Generation, right?
Oh yeah,
You know-
I could write this. I could turn this into a module and easily turn it into an entire book.
Yeah, this
I've
is
got my wheels spinning.
generations.
Yeah.
The consequences.
I can easily expand this out into many forms.
Anyway, all right, cool. Everyone, thank you for watching. Podcasters, thank you for listening to us on the podcast. We'll be back next week, I believe, barring anything bad happening, but barring the magical heat death of the universe and the rubber band snapping and we starting over
Yeah.
again.
It is 2020.
It is 2020. Why not? You got the amazing Randy, you got Sean Connery, and now this.
Yeah, we lost Sean Connery.
Rip.
I have a sad.
You win this round, Trebek. But I'll be back.
Your mother's a whore.
Your mother's a whore. Anyway, I think it's a good time. That's how we're gonna end the podcast. That's how we're gonna end the game.
Yeah.
The game this week. So everyone, thank you very much. We'll be back next week with an all new episode of Team X. See you soon. Bye bye.
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 Bye.